In the Silver Dragon's dungeon, two little guards salute the queen, who says she wants to have a private conversation with the prisoner. Weiss is the badass queen's name, and she proudly shows off all her dragon charms. She mocks the dragon slayer prisoner, who just asks to die already. But the queen is not really in the mood for that, since he is pretty handsome, strong, and virile, and I think I already know where she wants this to go. She just needs to make him bleed a little more, and it will be perfect. Looks like this crazy woman is into some pretty twisted stuff, and, after taking a little lick of the MC's blood, she asks if he wants to join the clan. But the badass just asks if she is worthy, making the hottie furious, and then taking a single hit that sends him flying away. While stepping on him, the queen asks how he dares to speak like that, and whether he still thinks about becoming a hero who hunts dragons. What is going to happen is the complete opposite, but he is still going to keep hunting dragons with his sword, just in a slightly different way. The queen then grabs him by the tail, and the badass says that she made two mistakes. The first is that she should not have been alone with him there, and the second is that she should not have drunk his blood. As he activates his ability, the dragon woman's body starts heating up, and she can no longer resist the urges caused by the skill. Yeah, it is definitely because of the skill, trust me. The badass drops the queen to her knees and says that from now on she will live with pain, but she is not really in the mood to talk much and goes straight into action. Right then, the MC realizes that she wants to complete the plan of being run through by the hero's sword. And 1 hour later the queen comes out of the trance and immediately gets pissed at the MC, asking what he did. The guy, who is already completely worn out, says that it was not him who did anything, and that the curse he placed on her was only supposed to make her feel pain in her soul, not make her act all worked up. But now the situation has improved a lot for the hero, since dragons are monogamous. Now the poor queen cannot marry or have children anymore, which means there is no longer any descendant to take her place. Hearing that only makes her even more furious at the MC, but before killing him she stops, since after that 1 hour of battle, the poor guy is already at death's door. I would sacrifice myself in your place, hero. But as if she would let the protagonist of the story die in peace, the wicked woman immediately places a mark on him. We see that in the past, the MC fought against Drake's beast, which was full of desire to devour children. And because of that, he managed to enter the Dragon Slayer school and achieve many war feats by killing dragons. At least the school teaches what it promises. But who would have thought that this badass guy would end up becoming a slave of the Dragon Clan? Waking up out of nowhere, Leon, and no, not Scan Kennedy, asks himself where he is. When he sees a cute little child at the door, he immediately realizes that this must be paradise. The same kind of thing people used to say when they arrived on Epstein Island. That little girl must definitely be a legendary angel. But why does she have black and white hair? She says that her name is Myun, and that it means moon. Right away, Leon remembers that he has never seen that name in the Bible, and the child adds that it was her mother, Weiss, who gave her that name. Yeah guys, the protagonist is a first-time father. Now go buy your cigarettes, man. At that moment, the queen appears in the frame and tells the little girl to leave, since she is going to have a private conversation with her father. She throws him onto the bed, tears his shirt, and says that she feels like making a few more little offspring. And once again, the MC's torture begins. Oh, what a suffering man. The next day, in the castle, two maids say that the queen is happier because her husband has woken up from the coma. Hidden, the dragon slayer hears them and gets mad, realizing they think he's the husband. He remembers how the Silver Queen squeezed him for a day and night, almost breaking him. He decides he won't be her toy and plans to escape. He watches the guards at a castle gate and sees 4 dragons guarding it. He finds the quiet and lack of guards odd compared to 2 years ago. Suddenly, he notices something on the other side of the wall. He finds a hidden hole in the grass and wonders how it got there. He thinks it might be a trap but decides to risk it as his only escape. Entering the tunnel, he says goodbye to the queen and tells her to keep Lumiwen. Unbeknownst to him, a girl watches him curiously. The girl excitedly tells her mom that daddy is digging like a dog. Nearby, the queen agrees he's amazing. Myun asks when mommy will bring him back. The queen says it's rude to say real and suggests saying bring him back. Later, he runs through the forest, thinking he'll soon reach human lands. He stops, thinking he's far enough to lose her, but he's shocked as he senses something coming. He looks up and yells Weiss's name as she flies in dragon form. She praises his running, scaring him. Her tail appears before him, and she asks if playing with him wouldn't be fun. The dragon seems let down, and says she helped him escape by making the hole. He admits he thought it was a trap but didn't expect her to catch up so fast. She asks if people will still see him as a dragon slayer with the mark on his chest. He says he'd rather live as a normal person than be tortured by her. Annoyed, she says he doesn't appreciate her kindness and gets ready to act. She swiftly grabs him with her paw, scaring him. As she flies, he yells, asking where she's taking him, and she says she's helping him return. 3 hours later, she flies over the night sky near a border town. Suddenly, she drops him, making him scream. He crashes through the trees from the fall. He hits the ground hard, groaning and holding his head. He pulls himself together and stays alert. Ahead, he sees a bright city and wonders if it's a human city. Behind him, the Silver Queen appears in human form, confirming it's the human empire. She asks if the lost city makes him think he can just return. Smiling, she warns that even so close, he can't go back. Suddenly, the mark on his chest glows purple. The woman explains that when someone with the dragon mark has a strong desire, the other person feels it too. She jokes about his body heat, and he asks if she wants to do it right there. She confirms she brought him there to teach him shame in front of his hometown. Holding his chest, he asks if she thinks he'll lose faith over this. He grabs her and promises to repay the humiliation double. His unexpected move leaves her speechless for a moment. Surprised, she agrees with a slight blush. She whispers that she'll be waiting for him, alive or dead. Later, near the Empire's border town, they sit under a big tree. They hug, smiling with satisfaction, and she rests beside her tired partner. Despite his tiredness, she says she's pleased with his performance. Soon, the teasing queen suggests visiting his hometown every month. Annoyed, he accuses her of being a dragon queen obsessed with draining his power. She prepares to leave, saying their daughter is waiting at home. He interrupts, asking her to wait, which intrigues her. He declares that as a dragon slayer, he won't be carried like prey and will travel alone. Though the journey takes over 10 days, she warns him, but he insists she shouldn't underestimate human endurance. With a challenging smile, she wants to see how long he can last. After a while, he struggles through the forest with difficulty. He soon stops, panting, exhausted from the journey. She catches up and asks if he needs help, but he denies being tired. She teases him, saying his only toughness is stubbornness, which annoys him. They stare at each other, tension in the air. Suddenly, he sees a dragon slayer army approaching. He gets excited, thinking the knights might help him escape the dragon. But beside him, the creature's expression turns cold and threatening. He realizes if he calls for help, they'll all be killed. A knight raises his hand, signaling the group to stop. The squad leader turns to the couple and asks if they're lost. With a forced smile, he says they're just out for a walk, determined not to involve others. The knight warns of forest dangers and offers a ride for safety. He introduces himself as Walker, captain of the 47th Dragon Slayer Squadron. Gratefully, the young man declines, saying they can protect themselves, trying to make them leave. Suspicious, the captain says the young man's face looks familiar and asks if they've met. This simple question fills the Dragon Queen's eyes with fury. He quickly sees the danger when her hand glows with energy. He grabs her hand to stop any attack. To cover it up, he hugs her and claims the captain must be mistaken. He says he has a common face while whispering for her to let him handle it. The leader watches as the woman seems to accept his plan. With a laugh, the captain says goodbye, saying he won't interrupt their romance. As the troops leave, they watch the wagon disappear down the road. With an angry look, the dragon asks if she's been hugged enough. She pushes him hard, making him step back. Despite this, she admits he was smart not to ask for help but warns him about something important. She scolds him, demanding he know his place and makes it clear she never considered being his wife. Soon after, she warns the road is long and starts walking. Suddenly, he feels sharp pain and grabs his arm. With blurred vision, he tries to approach her as she walks away. Soon after, he collapses in the forest. Seeing him fall, she asks, surprised, if he really lost consciousness. With disdain, she calls him a fragile human and releases her powerful aura. After that, she picks him up to take him back. As a dragon, she tosses him into the air and gently catches him with her mouth. Then he lies unconscious on her back as they fly through the sky. Under the stars, she sees his collapse as a plea for mercy. At dawn, they return to the Grand Silver Dragon Castle. Inside, the warrior wakes up in a comfy bed. Little Mion is excited to see her dad awake. Confused, he asks how he got back, and she says mommy brought him. He remembers being caught by the queen, feeling like prey. Then, he notices a bandage on his hurt hand. Proudly, the girl says she bandaged it for him. Watching her, he thinks about how dragons are fierce. Yet, she shows no hostility and treats him like a dad, maybe because she's a hybrid. Smiling, he pats her head and says she's amazing, making her happy. Soon, he tells her not to grow up like her mom, which confuses her. Suddenly, Rosways appears and asks what's wrong with being like her. Surprised, he denies saying anything as she comes in with a tray. The daughter proudly tells her mom she bandaged daddy's injury as instructed. The dragon comments that she should have done it anyway. The girl agrees while the father thinks about how strict her mom is. To talk privately, he suggests she go play hide and seek in the garden. Excited, the girl agrees to play with daddy. Then, he urges her to go quickly, saying he's not like her mom. As he starts counting, Mion runs off, asking him not to count fast. He keeps counting, watching her run down the hallway. Soon, he turns to confront the queen. Annoyed, he asks if she's too harsh on the child. She explains dragons must be strict to raise strong warriors. He argues their daughter is gentle, but she says gentleness is a bad word for a dragon. Smiling, he tells the queen she's cute when she wants to be. The comment irritates her. Angrily, she grabs his shirt. She yells he's just a slave for her to vent on, and tells him to stop flirting. Her reaction leaves him speechless. Roswell tells him she has duties and he must care for the child. With a hug, she softens and says their daughter likes him a lot. Right after, the scene shifts to the castle garden. Walking through the garden, he jokes about being a babysitter. Suddenly, he hears a sound from the other side. He sees Mion hiding behind a pillar, thinking she's tricked him. Smiling, he points and shouts that he found her. The girl stays still, so he watches her closely. He notices her angry face and wonders why. Embarrassed, he tries to apologize for making her wait. Suddenly, she turns and runs, leaving him confused. he shouts, asking why she's running away. Confused, he wonders where she went as he just saw her. He realizes predicting a child's mood is hard. He understands why the queen left him with the task. Suddenly, Myeon jumps on his back, happy to catch daddy. Surprised, he asks if she hadn't just run past him. She says she went looking for him because he wasn't finding her. Hearing this, he wonders if he saw wrong. Then, Myeon calls him to show something, and he follows her, still puzzled. From afar, another little girl watches silently. Moments later, water trickles down the garden wall. Meanwhile, Myeon hums as she draws. Behind her, her father watches with a calm smile. He thinks having a daughter isn't so bad and feels his soul healing. He vowed to help her escape from the Dragon Queen. Suddenly, the girl showed him a family picture she drew. He was puzzled to see 2 kids in it. He asked about the second child, and she said it was her sister. Shocked, he learned Myeon had a sister. He realized he had 2 targets, not one. He remembered the girl in the garden and understood her anger. But the girl explained her sister wasn't mad, just shy. He thought it was normal since they just met. He blamed the woman and decided to confront her. Far away, the queen was working at her desk. She looked up with a serious face. The man burst in, shouting her name. Calmly, she asked where Myeon was. He said their daughter was with her sister, and asked when she'd tell him about the other daughter. Smiling, the dragon asked if he hadn't guessed. He thanked her for 2 daughters, saying she worked hard. He promised to add her name to the family tree, which annoyed her. The queen asked if he knew why she hadn't told him. He accused her of being jealous and hiding Noah. Surprised, she asked if he was eager to meet her. He said he wanted a good relationship with his daughters, unlike their cold mother. Smiling, she warned him not to regret it. Later, sunlight filled the kitchen. He appeared with a knife, smiling determinedly. While chopping vegetables, he planned to win over his shy daughter with a tasty meal and make the queen regret it. He remembered making that stew in the battalion because kids loved its sweet taste. After tasting it, he was proud his cooking skills were still sharp. He imagined Noah would love the food and felt confident it would win her over. Outside, 2 maids watched curiously. They said the prince was kind for cooking after being sick. Suddenly, they were surprised to see Roswell with the 2 daughters. The queen told the maids they could rest and skip dinner. When they reached the dining room, he greeted them, saying they were just in time. Myeon ran to him, praising the smell, and he said he made stew and steak for them. He hoped Noah would feel his love through the food, but she turned away, leaving him shocked. He was frustrated, wondering why things were different from his expectations. He blamed Roswell, thinking she knew this would happen and kept him from Noah. Firmly, the woman told the daughter to introduce herself. The girl said she was Noah K. Melf, daughter of the Silver Driving Queen Roswell. Trying to connect, he introduced himself as Leon Cosmo, her father, but she was indifferent. Awkwardly, he wondered if she held a grudge. Mew whispered to her sister to speak more to avoid embarrassing their dad. With arms crossed, Noah doubted he was her father, saying he looked weak. Her words hit him hard. He realized he had a wild daughter and faced his first fatherhood crisis. The family dinner, meant to be nice, became the tensest moment of Leon's life. Though they looked alike, he saw his daughters had opposite personalities, with Noah like her mother. Smiling hopefully, he asked his eldest if the food was good. Noah said it wasn't, complaining the meat was tough, which hurt him. Seeing the scene, the queen couldn't help but laugh quietly. When Myeon asked why she was happy, she said it was because the family was together. Then, she teased her partner, asking if he was happy too, and he awkwardly agreed. Myeon asked if daddy could have dinner with them every day, and he agreed, though he wasn't sure. But the older sister interrupted, shouting she didn't want that. The younger sister asked why, and Noah said she wanted to study at the Young Dragons Academy soon. Ross Weiss reminded her that the academy was for older dragons and asked why she was in a rush. The girl said she wanted to start fighting dragon hunters right away, surprising her dad. He quickly realized she wanted to fight him, her own dad. He tried to warn her that those fighters were strong and it would be dangerous. Noah snapped back, saying not to treat her like a child, while he thought she still was one. The queen agreed with her daughter, saying the sooner she learned, the better she could fight. Then she challenged him to give a reason to stop Noah from going to school. Realizing arguing would make him look bad, he decided to change his approach. So he reluctantly agreed, saying it was fine by him. At that moment, he understood Ross Weiss's real plan. He imagined her as a giant monster, realizing she was using their daughter to mess with him. While promising to get back at her, she said he would help Noah prepare for the exam in a month. Excited, the girl agreed to her mom's orders. After dinner, Myeon happily showed her full belly to her sister. After the girls left, he turned to Ross Weiss and called her. Then he said they needed to wash the dishes, leaving her puzzled. She said the servants would do it. He explained that a family dinner should end with the couple cleaning together. Whispering, he asked if she didn't want to create a happy family vibe for their daughters, even if it was fake. Looking back, Ross Weiss saw their youngest daughter watching with hopeful eyes. Seeing her look, the queen reluctantly agreed. Hearing her, Myeon excitedly offered to help too. Noah then firmly grabbed her sister's hand. Next, she pulled Myeon away, saying the girl was coming with her. With the girls gone, the kitchen was quiet, with only dirty dishes left. Ross Weiss turned to him and asked when he planned to start helping. With a confident smile, he asked if she remembered what he told her 2 years ago. He reminded her never to be alone with a strong dragon hunter, surprising her. Suspicious, the queen asked what he was planning. He said unlike last time, he wouldn't let her manipulate him. Angry, she attacked him with her tail, asking if he thought he could escape. But he blocked it with his hand. He grabbed her tail and asked who said he wanted to escape. The queen cried out in surprise at the sudden touch. The pull made her fall to her knees, shocked. Then he revealed he read about the dragon tail's weakness, asking with a smile if she couldn't do anything now. He approached and commented that dragons always want to control everything. Finally, he asked if they had ever been controlled, leaving her speechless. Despite breathing heavily, Ross Weiss stayed flushed on the floor. Right after, she demanded he let go of her tail. In revenge, Leon reminded her how he was humiliated for her pleasure. With that, he suggested trying something different, provoking her to insult him. Quickly, she reacted, trying to break free. Meanwhile, two maids wondered if the prince's night was over. Soon after, they entered the kitchen, surprised by how clean it was, questioning if the prince did it. One smiled, enchanted by a perfectly clean dish. Through the door crack, the dragon silently watched them talk. Immediately, he silenced her, warning the maids couldn't see her like that. Right after, the kitchen door closed. The young woman looked at him angrily. He came closer, saying they could start now. His eyes were strong and sure. At that moment, her eyes looked lost. 3 days later, in the big castle of the kingdom. Curious, Myun asked if their dad was dead from sleeping too much, but No decided to check right away. A small kick hit the sleeping man's face, making him feel the pain. So, No confirmed he was alive, surprised by how he was treated. When he opened his eyes, he saw the younger girl jump when she saw he was awake. Right away, the little one ran to tell Ross Weiss. While the man tried to remember when he had passed out, the woman just asked if he needed a reminder of what happened. With that, Leon remembered he was knocked out with one punch that night. Sitting on the bed, he thought any normal person would have died from that. Still, he admitted she was very pretty and didn't look her age. The girls then asked what was wrong, but No said he was just looking at their mom. Quietly, Ross Weiss knocked over a flower decoration on the vanity with her hand. The quick move made the warrior look at her, then he picked up the delicate piece. Calmly, he put the ornament in her hair, saying it looked nice on her. She then asked how many women had heard that line. A dragon said that when he was a kid, he only knew how to take care of his uncle's donkey. Curious, Myun asked her dad what a donkey was. He said it was an animal with big ears that complains a lot, just like their mom. The comparison made the woman look at him angrily. Soon after, she hit him with a strong punch to the stomach. The daughters asked if their dad was okay, and he said yes, still in pain. The mom then said he would teach the girls how to write, making him complain about not being asked first. Myun was happy about the news while No said she could do it herself. Soon after, both ran to the library to find a pencil, and No picked the purple one. Alone with the dragon, Rosways told him her sister would visit and couldn't see the daughters. Idan asked why, wondering if her family didn't want to meet them. The woman explained he was now Leon Cosmo, a dragon who woke up after 2 years. Finally, she told him to remember the last name in case he met her sister. He just said he understood Her Majesty's orders. As he watched her leave, he wondered if the queen really thought he would listen to her. Instead, he decided he would embarrass her in front of her sister. In the study room of the Silver Dragon Temple, the lesson started. Leon showed his daughters how to write, asking them to watch closely. Right after, he showed them the written names and asked them to remember the writing before practicing. But No complained his handwriting was ugly, saying their mom's was much nicer. Myun asked what he would do, and the dragon said he needed to return something to their mom. As he left, he warned he would come back to check their work, making No wonder if he was silly. Her sister said he seemed happy, but the little silver-haired girl denied it, admitting at least he wrote fast. Still, she couldn't hide a slight blush. Meanwhile, at the city gate of the Silver Dragon Temple, an important visitor arrived. The newcomer was Isabel Malka, Queen of the Red Dragons. Right after, she hugged Rosways, happy to see her sister again after so long. The visitor said it had been a year since they last met, and noted the other looked healthier. With that, she asked why her husband wasn't there since she heard he had woken up. Rosways lied, saying he wasn't feeling well, and the queen was sad not to meet the dragon who won her sister's heart. Finally, she joked they must get along well to have kids so quickly. Her sister denied having feelings for him, saying the marriage meant nothing. Isabel just said she was still the same proud person as always. The hostess suggested they chat in the garden while walking. From a distance, they walked closely together. A prisoner watched them through a telescope, recognizing Rosway's sister. With determination, he decided to test the dragon mark's influence. Meanwhile, Isabel talked about the Fire Dragon King's territory being unstable. Hearing this, Rosways thought of Constantine and pictured a fire dragon. She asked if he hadn't vanished, but her sister guessed he might be expanding his land. Suddenly, a mark on her chest glowed brightly, causing a sharp pain. At that moment, she felt a strange connection. Isabel asked if something was wrong, but Rosways brushed it off and urged her to continue. She silently cursed Leon, knowing he caused the feeling. She then suggested strengthening the border defenses to avoid trouble. The dragon mark's effect grew stronger in her. Her sister noticed her sweating and asked if she was okay. Rosways made an excuse, saying she had urgent business and would be back in 20 minutes. When Isabel offered to join her, she declined, saying it wasn't needed. The queen guessed it was the dragon mark, joking about young people playing around. Meanwhile, Leon relaxed, wondering how long Rosways could last. Soon, she stormed into the room, shouting his name, surprising him with her quick return. She grabbed him, asking if he made the mark resonate to embarrass her. He acted innocent, asking if missing her was his fault. His words left her speechless. The comment startled her, making her blush deeply. Leon realized his words had an effect, as he managed to unsettle her. Rosway scolded him, telling the prisoner not to be shameless. In her mind, she admitted his words fooled her when she planned to confront him. She warned him he was spared this time, but he just teased her with a face. Reflecting, he realized one sentence left her speechless, showing the dragon mark's power. Yet, he wondered why his heart raced when he thought of her. He scolded himself, telling himself to stop thinking about such things. Then he remembered the girls were waiting for him while Myun wondered why he wasn't back. At the Silver Dragon Temple's gates, Rosway's sister said goodbye. Waving, she announced she was leaving. Rosway smiled, asking her sister to be careful. In dragon form, the visitor insisted on meeting her sister's husband, and Rosway's promised to introduce him next time. She then flew into the night sky. The Silver Queen watched her leave with a serious look. She angrily thought about teaching the dragon hunter a lesson. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Leon sneezed. Reading a book, he wondered if the dragon woman was bad-mouthing him. He noticed Myun and Noah asleep in bed. Carefully, he adjusted their blanket to keep them warm. He left the room quietly to avoid waking them. As he tried to leave, a hand slammed the door shut. Rosway stopped him, asking if her sister had left. Annoyed, she reminded him they had unfinished business. The sovereign dragged him down the hallway, ignoring him. Soon, they reached the queen of the Silver Dragon's luxurious room. A wooden basin with hot water was placed on the floor. Leon brought the water, asking what it was for. She said she was tired and ordered him to wash her feet. The order left him shocked. She insisted he obey, saying it was punishment for earlier. Reluctantly, he knelt, feeling humiliated serving a dragoness. Holding her foot, he wondered how many hunters she had trampled. Rosways became confused, wondering why he was just staring at her feet. Blushing, she wonders if he has a thing for feet. Annoyed, she tells him to put her foot in the water. Her feet go into the hot water basin. Suddenly, the queen yells that the water is too hot and kicks him in the face. Leon falls backward from the hit. She accuses him of using the hot water to get back at her. Smirking, he reminds her she asked for his help with washing her feet. Rosway says he hasn't learned his lesson. With her foot on his chest, she asks if he ever thought a dragon would step on him. Then, she thinks about what would happen if she pressed a certain spot. The pressure makes him wince in pain. Leon asks her to stop, feeling a weird mix of shame and pleasure. The dragoness challenges him to see how long he can take it. Still, he decides not to give in to her. Quickly, he grabs her foot. Leon jokes that he's eaten many legs but never dragon ones. Rosway is shocked, unsure of his next move. He bites her leg, saying he'd eat raw dragon claws. A furious scream echoes, and the queen vows to kill Leon Cosmode. The next day, Noon wakes up sleepy in bed. She asks her mom why she's limping, but Rosway says it's nothing. Then, she asks Leon about the bandage on his face, getting a vague answer. The girl looks confused by their replies. She happily concludes it was a fun game, and wants to join in. In the garden of the Silver Dragon's castle, Leon and Rosway walk silently. She walks ahead, looking annoyed, while he follows. Two maids watch from afar, thinking it looks like a romantic date. But one maid finds it odd that the queen and prince don't seem close. Rosway keeps walking without speaking. The man feels awkward too. He breaks the silence, asking why they're walking. Earlier, he refused to walk with her. The dragoness explained they needed to look like a happy family for the people. Now, he thinks she's acting weird and wonders what she's planning. Hidden, Noon says her dad is too slow to hold her mom's hand. Determined, she decides to help, even as Noah tries to stop her. She runs to them while her sister begs her to stop. Suddenly, the little girl appears behind them, and Leon asks, surprised, how she got there. Noon grabs their hands and joins them together. She explains they need to hold hands for a walk. Hidden, the girls find the couple sweet, and Noah thinks their mom doesn't fit in. The man reflects that he didn't think holding hands would affect Roswell so much, thinking she doesn't know how to bond with the girls. He comments that sometimes they call her mother, and Roswell asks if that's bad. He says they usually say mommy with daddy, and the way they say it sounds distant. The Silver Queen is confused, asking if there's a big difference. Smiling, the hunter suggests they get the girls to call her mommy to feel closer. Roswell is surprised and speechless. She decides to try it, and he complains about being pulled to walk faster. As they walk, Roswell asks if he misses home, saying she has something to help. She leads him to a storage building behind the castle's mountain. Leon asks what kind of place it is, and she says she hasn't named it. Unlocking the door, she says he can call it a storage room or back room. As the door opens, she says the name doesn't matter. Inside, Leon is impressed and asks if it's a dragon storeroom. Next, he sees a bracelet from his grandmother, and notes it would be valuable in the Empire. Roswell explains that some items mean a lot to her, while others are just trophies. Later, he asks about her family, and the Silver Queen says she and her sister were raised by their grandmother. Leon mentions he grew up in an orphanage, and was adopted by his master. Curious, he asks what she really wanted to show him. The woman goes to a chest, saying its contents will help him forget his worries. When she opens it, Leon is shocked to see his black and gold armor. Roswell asks if he hadn't always wanted it back. In disbelief, he wonders if he's dreaming and if she'll really return it. With a sly smile, she confirms she will. But as soon as he touches the armor, magical runes light up. Leon sees the runes and laments that his old friend has sunk so low. With a triumphant look, Roswell reveals he has fallen into her trap. As energy surrounds him, Leon angrily asks what Roswell has done. Smiling, she reveals she placed a dragon mark on the armor, activated by his touch. Then the prisoner's hand shakes as the effect starts. He clutches his chest, regretting trusting that dragon. With a satisfied smile, the queen notes the marks will double the effect. Soon after, she grabs his chin and taunts him, asking if he can handle it. Struggling, the warrior grits his teeth, trying to say her name. With that, he is pushed back, losing his balance completely. Pinned to the ground, he feels an intense urgency take over. Roswell reveals she had been looking for ways to make him drop his guard, not expecting him to fall so easily. Surprised and speechless, Leon can only stare at her, his face red. With a victorious look, she asks if her performance was convincing. He asks in shock if everything about her family and holding hands was a lie. As she approaches, Roswell says it was all true, but it doesn't change her plans for him. Finally, she touches her own body and reminds him of what he said before. The Silver Queen reminds him he said she liked being in charge. Smiling, she confirms she does like control. Then she asks if her dear husband is ready before kissing him, making him curse. The large storage room doors close, sealing the dragon hunter's fate. After a few hours, he cries out of relief, thinking it's finally over. Lying beside him, Roswell watches him with a satisfied look. Annoyed, Leon asks what she wants now. Holding his chin, she comments that his scars have faded and he looks more mature. The prisoner protests angrily, saying he won't fall for her trap again. As she gets dressed, the woman admits with a smile that he has also gotten smarter. However, she pauses, making Leon uneasy. With a mischievous smile, she finishes by saying his body has deteriorated a lot. Confused, he can only ask what that means. Her statement that his body has decayed leaves him completely shocked. The repeated phrase leaves him frozen in despair. The humiliation continues as the queen's words echo in his mind. The next day, a new dawn rises over the vast castle. Looking exhausted, Leon opens the door and asks who is there. On the other side, Roswell greets him with a good morning, while Noah waits silently. With a teasing smile, she says he doesn't look like he slept well. Leon asks whose fault that is, but the woman pretends not to remember. Watching, the little girl just thinks they have started arguing again. Roswell tells him he needs to give Noah lessons for the academy's strict test. Next, she teases him by saying after yesterday, he can only prove his worth in other areas. Furious, Leon protests that the previous night he just wasn't in good shape. Then he promises to make Noah pass the test, but demands something in return. The Silver Queen agrees, but only if his request isn't too much. With determination, the dragon agrees to the deal, sealing it. Roswell wished them good luck with their studies and advised not to overdo it, which annoyed him. Noah asked why he argued with Mommy, and Leon said it was just how they talked. Surprised, he asked the girl what she called Roswell. Innocently, the girl repeated, "Mommy," holding her book. He asked if she liked calling her that, and Noah shyly said yes. Leon smiled, happy he guessed right. The girl stayed quiet, a bit embarrassed. She then said it was study time and started walking, making her dad ask her to slow down. In the castle study room, two little creatures were around. Nearby, a young man was studying hard. The Valkyrie came over and asked why he wasn't asleep. Since simple lessons weren't enough for Noah, he said he was making a special study plan for her. He wanted to make sure she'd pass the test in a month. The woman proudly said the girl was like her. He smiled and said he doubted that. He bragged about being a genius and winning all school honors. He asked what awards the queen had, leaving her speechless. Surprised, the warrior thought he was smart and strong. She teased him about being her prisoner, making him shout he only lost once. As he regretted his mistake, the blonde mocked him, saying the queen beat him. She then saw a plate of peppers on the table. Curious, she asked what he planned to do with them. He said he brought them from the kitchen to stay awake. She warned him they were Dragon Clan yellow peppers and too spicy. He ate one anyway, and his reaction was instant. He yelled it was too spicy. With his mouth burning, he searched for water. The woman held his face to calm him. He was surprised and speechless at her touch. Embarrassed, she said her cold hands might help. He noticed her fingertips were cool and soothing. Feeling the touch, he realized it helped. He thanked her, saying he felt better, and she stepped back. Afterward, they were both embarrassed. The Valkyrie told him to go to bed and not eat more peppers. Watching her leave, he wished she'd touch his face more. But he got annoyed, remembering the dragon's trick. He returned to his books, determined to recover. He flipped through a book, ignoring the red dragon fruit and ling a new herb, until he found a page on Dragon Big Force. Smiling, he realized he found what he needed. The next day, he told the girl he corrected her practice test. She guessed 50 points. Smiling, he showed her 62 points, a bit more than she expected. Still, she clenched her fists, unhappy. He understood she had high expectations. He noticed she chose studying over playing, unlike Mian. To encourage her, he patted her head and said 62 points was good. She thanked him and said they should focus on the wrong answers. He then had a coughing fit, apologized, and said his throat was irritated from yesterday's peppers. The blonde came to see Noah and told her dad worked all night. She revealed he ate super spicy yellow peppers to stay awake. The girl surprised him by giving him a small container, saying to take it. Surprised, he asked if it was for him, and the girl confirmed, saying his wife sent it. With a smile, he asked her to thank her mom, curious about how she could be so nice. Then he happily suggested they keep studying, bringing him and his daughter closer. Later, in the Silver Dragon's castle kitchen, everything was ready. Soon, 2 maids came in with the ingredients, and he told them to leave them there. He thought he had asked for random items so they wouldn't guess his plan. He realized that even with common ingredients, the potion's success rate was low. First, he started by grinding and mixing all the needed parts. Then he added them in order into a pot to cook. Hours later, he was upset to see he had failed again. He regretted following the book's methods, always failing at the purification step. The high heat method could ruin the medicine. So, he decided he needed a better way to separate the residues. Just then, lightning flashed outside. Sitting in a chair, he looked out and noted it would rain soon. But when he saw the light again, he got an idea. He remembered his teacher saying electrolysis sometimes worked when fire didn't. Excited, he decided to try using his magic, though he doubted its efficiency due to his limited power. Still, he believed he had enough control to use his magic precisely. Half an hour later, he held a small pill and celebrated his success. Smiling, he thought making dragon medicine was easy. Suddenly, his daughter appeared and asked what he was doing. He froze, surprised she was there. Startled, he called her name when he saw her. He tried to cover it up, but she asked if he was hiding candy. Quickly, he explained it was medicine for her mom, making her ask if Rose Wasi was sick. He reassured her, saying it was just to help her recover, though he made it for himself. Nguyen happily asked him to take care of mommy. He agreed, thinking he'd care for her when he was better. Meanwhile, a storm hit the castle. Back in his room, he wondered about the supplement's side effects on humans. So, he decided to set it aside, frustrated. Then, a noise at the door caught his attention. Surprised, he asked why the Majesty was in his room. She said their daughter told her he made special medicine for her health. Embarrassed, he thought about how his daughter could gossip so fast. She calmed him, saying she was surprised he could make potions in such a simple place. Next, she asked to see what he made, so he handed over the box, thinking she'd take it anyway. After opening it, she praised him for making dragon strength perfectly in poor conditions. He was shocked by the praise and wondered if she was serious. Rosway said he could keep the medicine but warned it couldn't be used now. Desperate, he asked why it was forbidden. She explained the effect was too strong for a human, making him wonder if it was really that powerful. The queen said it was for his own good because a human couldn't handle it. Indignant, he said he had beaten many dragons and accused her of underestimating him. Ignoring the warning, he put the pill in his mouth. Immediately, he declared courage is humanity's anthem, while Rosway screamed his name in despair. At that moment, he felt the pill's power surge through him. The warrior ran to him and scolded him, warning she wasn't good with healing magic. Then she held him and said she'd try to break the medicine's effect first. Even in pain, he struggled while she shouted for him not to move. With energy crackling through him, he looked at the Valkyrie and declared this was showing courage. Under the rain, a lot of energy gathered around the palace. Suddenly, he screamed as blue lightning surrounded him. Frightened, the queen wondered why he was using lightning magic on himself. He just endured the pain as the electricity flowed through him. Soon, he passed out, and she caught him before he hit the bed. With him lying down, Rosways asked if he had lost his mind. She turned to leave, saying she'd call the palace doctor. But before she could go, he grabbed her hand. The Valkyrie looked back, surprised by his sudden move. He held her tail with a dazed smile. Annoyed, she asked what he was doing. Smiling, he called her his wife and asked where she was going. Shocked, she asked who he was calling that. She told him to let go, but he wouldn't let his wife leave. Seeing his persistence, she wondered if the lightning magic had confused him. She thought he seemed fine despite acting silly. Finally, she asked what he wanted. He smiled and said he wanted another child with her. This unexpected statement left her speechless and embarrassed. Even when she scolded him for not taking care of their kids, he insisted on a third. To avoid more trouble, she decided to play along. Rosways agreed to have more kids and visit his homeland when ready. As he celebrated, she found his spoiled behavior more annoying than usual. Then, he called her the best wife and leaned in for a kiss. She pushed him away, telling him not to take advantage, wondering when the medicine would wear off. She called him an idiot and punched him in the face. After knocking him onto the bed, she sighed, admitting she couldn't help but hit him. Concerned, she leaned in and asked if he was okay. Suddenly, he woke up feeling strange. The warrior panicked seeing a dark mark on his chest. She wondered how the dragon mark could activate now. He grabbed her shoulder. As he gently pushed her toward the bed, she asked what he was doing, but he said he felt strange. He described feeling too hot and his chest pounding. The queen realized the dragon mark and lightning increased his need for energy. He hugged her by the tail, saying he loved her, making her think she couldn't handle it if this continued. Annoyed, she pushed him away, shouting for him to get off since her tail was dragging. Suddenly, he paused and put a finger on her lips. He told her she looked beautiful tonight. Surprised, she saw his attitude had changed to one that wouldn't take no for an answer. She wondered if she also wanted the same thing. He gently asked if she could help him. Embarrassed, she agreed but said it was only for tonight. They shared a quiet, intimate moment, united by the storm outside. The next morning, the sun shone over the palace. Leon woke up, feeling the effects of last night. Beside him, Ross Weiss washed and asked if he was awake. Startled, he moved away and asked what she was doing there. He sat up, complaining his body was sore. As he tried to figure out what happened, she asked if he remembered anything. With a teasing smile, she showed him the marks on his back, saying a dragon hunter shouldn't forget. Shocked, he wondered if he made those bite marks. Suddenly, memories of last night came back. Remembering everything, Leon screamed in embarrassment. She asked if he remembered begging her last night. As he panicked, Ross Weiss repeated his words. Desperate, he interrupted, saying he remembered everything. He thought he made the elixir to improve his health, not expecting such extreme effects. Leon admitted he might have gone too far and asked if she was hurt, but she said she was okay. Smiling, he mentioned she now knew his strength and couldn't say he couldn't handle it. Ross Weiss just looked at him intensely. She moved closer, and he asked what was up. She grabbed his chin, praised his skills, and said she expected him to keep it up. Annoyed, Leon asked if he was now her servant. Changing the topic, she brought up their bet about the treatments. She admitted she lost and asked if he knew what he wanted as a reward. Leon, with a sly grin, said he had decided. He asked her to send someone to check on his master and his master's wife in the Empire. Ross Weiss said a visit was possible, making him very thankful for the help. Soon after, he composed himself and thanked her more formally. Elsewhere, in the Silver Dragon Sanctuary Garden, Moon asked if her dad was sick. Surprised, Leon said no and asked why she thought that. Moon said her mom told her he took medicine and that men couldn't admit being sick. He got angry, wondering why Ross Weiss would say that to a child, and thought about his pride. While Luna 1 kept asking if he was still sick, Leon scolded her and bit his lip, making it bleed. Seeing the blood, Moon panicked and begged him not to die, saying she couldn't live without him. Leon calmed her, saying he was fine and thought she reminded him of her mom, especially her bluntness. To distract her, he offered to make a new toy, and Moon got excited. Leon started making a small colorful cube with his tools. He gave her the magic cube and explained she could turn its parts however she wanted, making her thrilled. He thought he never imagined using his mechanical skills for kids and wondered if he was good at it. Suddenly, his expression changed as he sensed something unexpected. He looked carefully toward the garden. Moon asked what it was, but he said it was nothing. In his mind, he remembered feeling a dragon's gaze from where Noah usually trained. Knowing she probably wouldn't come closer, he decided to make a toy for the older girl too. Later, Noah peeked through the bedroom door while Moon was asleep. On the table, she found a magic cube with a note from Leon, challenging her to solve the puzzle. She held the cube, saying she didn't care about childish toys. Still, she started turning the pieces with curiosity. Soon after, Noah hugged the gift with a smile and silently thanked her dad. Although St. Heath Academy is a noble school with strict standards for dragons, a student's family is important for evaluation. To keep up the appearance of a united family, Rosways brings everyone to the floating city. As soon as they arrive, she lands in her majestic dragon form. Leon approaches and says he'll help Moon get down slowly. While he holds her, the girl asks why he didn't turn into a dragon too. He awkwardly thinks he's good at killing dragons, but not at becoming one. Soon after, Noah suspiciously asks if he really can't do it. Faced with the question, he's speechless. Rosways explains his body hasn't recovered enough to become a dragon. Moved, Moon asks her dad to get better soon, and he promises to try, though he thinks it's impossible. With that behind them, the family heads to the city gates. Enchanted by the sight of many dragons, the girl gets excited, but her sister tells her not to walk so fast. At that moment, Leon starts to tremble. Noticing, Rosways comments it's the first time he's seen so many dragons since he woke up. With a teasing smile, she asks if he's scared. He denies it, saying he's actually very excited. His eyes shine as he thinks the streets are full of prizes and he's going to get rich. Rosways realizes she worried for nothing while he's already counting his profits. The bell rings as they enter a photo studio. An attendant greets the queen and her family. Moon eagerly points at dragon photos on the wall. Leon wonders why Rosways had to come herself, as kings usually send their clans. After she explains, he jokes that her title isn't very valuable. Annoyed, the queen kicks him lightly. As he winces, she insists her title is still higher than his. The photographer says it's an honor, and Rosways mentions their luck in getting an appointment. The woman asks about Leon's tail, but his friend wants a suit without a tail hole. She recalls how he once refused tail decorations, saying they hurt his pride. The photographer then leads them to try on clothes, and Moon is thrilled about her dress. Later, Moon and Noah show up in their new dresses. Leon appears in a white suit. Moon tells her dad he looks great. The photographer agrees, and Leon remembers last wearing a suit at graduation. Smiling, he asks Noah what she thinks. Embarrassed, she says he looks good. He compliments their dresses, saying they look cute. The fitting room curtain opens. Rosway steps out in a black dress, and Moon says Mom looks beautiful. Leon is stunned and speechless. When she asks what's wrong, he awkwardly says the dress looks nice on her. She jokes he'd look better with a tail, but he refuses. The girls call their parents over. The photographer says it's time for the photo and asks them to come closer. They reluctantly move closer for the picture. The photographer asks them to smile and starts the countdown. The family photos show them all together. The photographer praises the couple, saying they look like they belong together. The photographer tells them the photos will take 6 hours and suggests they explore the city. They say goodbye at the studio door. Walking down the street, Moon calls her sister to see a stall. Rosways mentions shopping with her partner, who says it's to relax before Noah's test. The girls are drawn to prizes at a game booth. A noise surprises the couple. The booth owner encourages the kids to keep trying. Leon sees shooting games and Moon calls him over. After Noah loses, he thinks the game is rigged for profit. Rosways explains it's hard because of magical energy. The owner offers the couple a chance to win a teddy bear. Leon asks the girls if they want the prize. They say no, but he knows they mean yes. He asks for 10 shots, saying Rosways will pay. Holding the gun, he thanks her and mentions not using one since Hunter Academy. He hits the target perfectly. The owner thought he rigged the gun to prevent winning. Leon hits all targets in a row. He celebrates, and the owner is shocked. Moon cheers for her dad, and his friend admits he's good. The owner gives him the prize, and he smiles victoriously. He gives the teddy bears to his daughters, who thank him excitedly. Rosways thinks he has charm when he tries. Leon notices her gaze and wonders why she's staring. A nearby girl asks her mom for a teddy bear. Rosways suddenly finds herself holding a giant teddy bear. Seeing the scene, Leon chuckled at the vendor's annoyance and eagerly asked the boss for 10 more tries. Despite being told not to waste time, he said he was there to enjoy time with his daughters. The hunter asked if she disliked it, and the woman replied she didn't want one, but he insisted she shouldn't leave empty-handed. Even though she thought the bears were pointless, she admitted they were cute. Holding a teddy bear, Rosways invited him to her room after dinner. The unexpected invitation left Leon completely stunned. Later, the castle lit up, setting the mood for their meeting. As he walked down the hall, he figured he was called for a private moment. He thought if he went, he'd suffer for a night, but if he didn't, he'd suffer all week. Determined, he decided to face her and ran to the bedroom door. To his surprise, the door was unlocked. He entered the room and called for Rosways. Hearing water from the bathroom, he guessed she was taking a bath. Looking at the door, he saw her silhouette through the glass. With his heart racing, he convinced himself they were really going to spend the night together. Then he tried to calm himself down. Soon after, he peeked as the bathroom door opened. Rosways appeared in a nightgown and invited him to start. Desperate, Leon realized she planned to drain his energy again. Right away, Rosways asked if he preferred the living room or the balcony. He said the balcony would be embarrassing if someone saw them. She agreed on the living room, saying the place didn't matter. Liam closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and got ready. Next, he shouted he was ready to start. Suddenly, he threw himself onto the sofa, making her ask what he was doing. Lying down, the hunter asked if this wasn't what she wanted. Rosways teased him, saying he seemed eager, but he'd have to wait for another time. As he sat up, he asked about the scrolls she was holding. She revealed it was St. Hit's Academy's test to check the couple's habits and personality. She explained they needed to match their answers to help Noah's evaluation. Liam read the paper and asked if it wasn't just a silly couple's game. He then asked her favorite color, and while Rosways said black, he said his was silver. They exchanged papers to check their answers. Immediately, they both exclaimed in embarrassment that it was just a coincidence. The woman suggested they test how well they knew each other, and he agreed. A bit later, Leon announced he finished his part of the test. When they compared results, he bragged his score was higher than hers. In her thoughts, Rosways was impressed by the details he got right, like the comfort of her tail. However, she noticed his mistakes were only when guessing her thoughts. She reflected that the mistakes were normal since she never opened up to anyone. Given the situation, she thought maybe she could open up more to him. Meanwhile, he noticed her staring and wondered if she was mad about the score. To break the silence, he laughed and reassured her, saying it was hard to score high with so little time together. Right after, he said for Noah's sake, they needed to understand each other better. Hearing this, Rosways was completely flustered. Next, she hit him and told him to stop stalling and write the correct answers. Then, they argued about the disappointment question, with her expecting him to use his dragon's strength again. A week later, Leon celebrated their new average while Rosways slept in his lap. Happy with the result, he said goodbye so he could leave. As he stood up, she grabbed his clothes and asked him to wait. Then, she invited him to take a bath in her tub before leaving. Leon asked, surprised, if she really wanted him to bathe in her room. Without giving him time to think, Rosways pushed him toward the bathroom, telling him to go already. In the bathroom, he wondered why she was so pushy and if she had a plan, but he figured she was just nervous about the test. So, he decided to relax and got into the bathtub. Soon, he felt great in the warm water. Suddenly, he was surprised when Rosways came in wearing just a towel. She said she was stressed and needed to relax. He thought he saw this coming. He quickly told her to find another way to relax and not involve him. Rosways smiled and said making him stressed was her way to unwind. As she joined him in the tub, she joked if he had the same idea. Leon had no response and admitted he couldn't argue. She then warned him he couldn't escape and should accept it. Finally, the day of the entrance exam at St. Hit's Academy came. When they arrived, Leon was amazed by the place's size. At the entrance, he and Rosways got serious for a moment. Then, he teased her about last night's stress relief. Annoyed, she muttered a curse, but he just laughed and urged her to go inside. Inside, they saw the crests of the big families. Soon, a receptionist called for Noah Cosmo Melkway from the Silver Dragon tribe. The woman was surprised when she saw the girl was only 1 year and 3 months old. Leon asked if there was an issue, but the receptionist said she was just surprised. She explained that while the minimum age was 1 year, most dragon kids start at 4 to 6 years old. Rosways then said their daughter was smart, and they respected her choice. With that, the staff members sent them to the family evaluation on the 4th floor while Noah took her test. They reached the meeting room on the floor. There, the couple sat on a sofa to wait with 3 others. Rosways quietly asked if he thought the others would be easy to handle. Leon whispered back that they seemed easy to beat, and that his old self would defeat them in 50 moves. As the others noticed them, he whispered angrily that he would go after them if they failed Noah. Then, a man introduced himself as Vice Principal Walter Wilson, in charge of the parent evaluation. Both smiled, though the hunter suspected the evaluator might be trouble. The vice principal started by asking when their wedding anniversary was. Hearing this, they looked at each other tensely, as it was the question they dreaded most. In a flashback, Roz was worried about answering since they weren't really married, and Leon suggested using a memorable date. She then recited the agreed date, the year 1733 of the creation era. Together, they smiled and said it was on May 25th, the day they met in the dungeon. The vice principal commented on how quickly the marriage and pregnancy happened, and the hunter made up a story about love at first sight. Then the evaluator asked if they had found any flaws or bad habits in each other. To sound convincing, Leon said yes while Rosways said no as planned. Pressed to explain, Leon said he sometimes felt unimportant at home. Even so, he praised Rosways for being efficient and handling everything well. However, he admitted she got stressed, and he wished to help more, mentally asking her to stop taking it out on him. During the interview, the lady asked the dragoness about her husband's best qualities. Rosways described him as handsome, smart, and responsible, listing his traits. He listened with a forced smile, unsure if it was genuine praise or teasing. Then she held his hand and told him not to overdo things. Moments later, she squeezed tightly, causing him some pain. Seeing this, the interviewers concluded the two were deeply in love. The interview continued pleasantly with everyone in the room. To wrap things up, the evaluator suggested they ask each other one last question. Rosways grinned and said she had no questions since she knew everything about her partner. Then the evaluator looked at the hunter, who was eager to finish the evaluation. Leon surprised everyone by asking if she liked the teddy bear he gave her. The unexpected question left Rosways puzzled, not sure why he asked it. Blushing, she shyly admitted she liked the gift a lot. Pleased, he smiled and said he had no more questions. Thus, the evaluator ended the assessment, and thanked them for their cooperation. A few days later, a messenger dragon flew in through the window, and Myun announced the message had arrived. Excitedly, everyone gathered around the table as Leon got ready to open the scroll. The letter revealed that Noah had passed the evaluation and should attend the admission ceremony. As the sister celebrated her success, the parents looked at the result in surprise. Then Myun hugged her sister, saying she and their parents were amazing. Rosways thanked her partner, but he said there was no need since Noah did it all herself and was his daughter. Smiling, the woman announced a banquet and said he would help so he wouldn't feel left out, making him call her petty and spiteful. And so the day of the entrance ceremony at St. His Academy finally came. On stage, the headmaster welcomed the new students, congratulating them on their acceptance. Meanwhile, the audience of families and students listened closely to the speech. Soon, the headmaster announced that the top student, Noah K. Melchavi, and her family would come up on stage. Excited, Myun cheered when she learned her parents and sister would give a speech. Then Leon, Rosways, and little Noah walked toward the podium. On the way, the father remembered how, an hour ago, he was told about the unexpected speech. Once on stage, he accepted he had no choice but to deal with the sudden situation. The headmaster then asked the student if she had any advice or feelings to share. At first, the girl said her mother, a powerful dragon, always supported and inspired her to be strong. Then she thanked her sister for always being by her side, making Myun very happy. Curious, the man wondered if his daughter would mention him in her speech too. Lastly, the young girl thanked her father, who stayed up many nights to help her study. Hearing her words, he was visibly moved. The speaker then ended her speech with a simple thank you. Afterward, the headmaster suggested Leon kiss Noah to show his fatherly love. Panicking, the man wondered if the headmaster wanted to turn the ceremony into his execution. In his mind, he remembered that just a month ago, the girl wouldn't even let him touch her. Whispering, he suggested they could just hug to avoid too much fuss. However, the girl insisted he kiss her already and get it over with. Surprised by her response, the father was shocked for a moment. Since she insisted, he then kissed her on the forehead. In the audience, Myun shouted that she wanted to kiss her sister too, but the maid stopped her from running up. Beside them, Rosways was relieved the suggestion hadn't been directed at her. With that, the headmaster praised the Melchai's family for showing what a true family relationship looked like. Right after, he asked how Leon could forget his wife after kissing his daughter. Irritated, the man thought the headmaster had crossed the line, wishing he had confronted him during the evaluation. But looking at Noah, he decided he couldn't be upset by something so small on such an important day. Then Leon turned to Rosways with a smile and reminded her they were the most harmonious family. His wife whispered back incredulous, but he replied he had no choice with the girls watching them. Rosways wondered how her husband could stay so calm, since she was extremely nervous about getting close. Putting her embarrassment aside, she decided to just kiss him once and for all. But he simply gave her a quick kiss on the cheek and immediately stepped back. The unexpected gesture left her completely surprised and speechless. As she touched her face, she kept processing what had just happened. Leon turned to the audience and thanked them, even as the crowd asked for another kiss. Whispering to Rosways, he admitted that now he felt relieved. The woman realized she had been used and angrily thought she would make him pay if they weren't in public. The headmaster thanked the family and let them leave to rest. Outside, everyone said goodbye, and Rosways told her daughter she'd pick her up on the weekend. Myun hugged her sister, asking not to be forgotten, and Noah reassured her. Leon advised her to eat, study, and take care of herself, but she said she wasn't a child anymore. He then shared that he was just passing on advice his wife was too shy to give. In a serious tone, the father told her to stand up for herself if bullied, promising his support. The girl asked if he'd ever done that, and Leon said he always got beaten by her grandfather when he fought. He reassured her that unlike her grandfather, he wouldn't punish her for such things. Noah understood and clenched her fists, showing determination. Later, in the Queen of the Silver Dragon Temple's office, light filled the room. Meanwhile, Rosways read about the blood spell, a forbidden magic that sacrifices the caster's life. She realized that with a small change, the spell could be useful. Suddenly, the door opened, and she was surprised to see someone return. Shirley, her trusted handmaiden, knelt and greeted her as Majesty. The sovereign asked about the investigation, and Shirley regretfully reported she hadn't found Tiger Lawrence and his wife. Rosways learned they had erased their tracks carefully. She concluded that Leon's master wasn't just a simple farmer, as he claimed. So, she ordered her servant to keep investigating and report any new findings. Moments later, the hunter trained with a staff, encouraging little Moo to strike hard. The girl unleashed several moves, surprising her father. From a distance, Rosways watched them train. When the girl saw her mother, she called out happily. The man asked if she finished patrolling, and she said yes. Rosways asked if her daughter behaved well with her father, and the child confirmed she had been obedient. She then announced steak for dinner, and told the girl to change clothes first. Noom was excited because she loved steak. The maid quickly took her away while she sang happily about dinner. After the child left, the queen turned to speak with her husband. Suddenly, he pointed the branch she used for training at her face. She asked if he decided to attack her, reminding him it would be treason. Leon replied it was just a branch and questioned if she seriously called it a weapon. The woman countered that in his hands, even a branch was deadly. The man turned his face and sighed. He asked for a genuine compliment without sarcasm, but she refused. Admitting his intention, he said he just wanted to scare her, while Rosways doubted a branch could hurt her. Later, she mentioned Noel wrote a letter saying everything was fine at the academy. Leon thought it wasn't much, but his companion explained it was rare for their daughter to reassure them. He agreed, commenting that the girl was like her mother. Rosways gave him a serious look, about to say something. She then said that despite his serious face, he was kind, and their daughter admired his strength. She explained that in the girl's mind, he was like a student she needed to surpass. Leon smiled with relief, thinking his daughter saw him as a weak bookworm. Rosways revealed Noah often visited him when he was unconscious, and he laughed at her stubbornness. She remembered when their daughters were babies, only their father could calm them. The memory showed Leon sleeping peacefully with the two little ones. Even so, he admitted that blood ties still felt distant to him. He recalled his childhood as an orphan, never understanding what a family truly was. When he was 5, his master and the master's wife adopted him and treated him like their own child. He felt like he had a home for the first time, but sometimes he felt empty seeing other families. He thought life would be perfect if his masters were his real parents. His master comforted him, saying he would have his own family to love and protect one day. Leon remembered this and realized they were his true family. Rosways interrupted his thoughts, saying it was time to go home. He thanked her and suggested they leave. She moved her foot toward her shoe and asked him to help her put it on as a thank you. Leon was confused by the strange request. Even though Rosways insisted, Leon refused to help her with her shoes. He said washing her feet was already embarrassing, and he didn't want to lose more dignity. The queen kicked him, reminding him he owed her for the kiss at the ceremony. She told him to stop complaining and finish quickly so they could leave. With no choice, Leon helped her with the shoe. Rosways noted how quickly he obeyed, but he complained it was hard. The comment made his wife angry. She suddenly attacked him, trying to knock him down. Leon ran away, saying she wouldn't catch him, but Rosways chased him angrily. Days later, Myum excitedly told her parents someone was coming. A huge dragon soon landed in front of them. The hunter saw the Leviathan dragon was bigger than Rosways in her dragon form. She explained that despite its size, the Leviathan was weak in fights and calm. While he wondered about the creature, she said the academy used it to transport young dragons. A blue light surrounded Noah and lifted her up. From the light, the girl said she was going back to her mom. Rosways welcomed her, and Myum hugged her sister, missing her. Noah hesitated to call Leon father, and he noted she wasn't used to it yet. As they walked, he said they had made lots of food for her. On the table, Noah's report card showed perfect scores and first place in many subjects. The Kinting smiled proudly, and Moon was impressed. Noah gave them a paper and apologized for not being first in the physical test. Her mom comforted her, saying no need to apologize, and her sister said she was the best. Leon thought he needed to help since one daughter couldn't express herself well and the other exaggerated. He looked at the test and said it was normal for her to have less endurance than older dragons. He pointed out she had the highest win rate in class, excelling in strategy. Noah whispered she heard her mom always had perfect scores. Leon reassured her he wasn't first in his class at first but got there with hard work. He encouraged her not to be discouraged, knowing she could do better, and Moon agreed. Moon then asked who would win if their strong dad fought their mom, surprising both parents. They both confidently said they would win. They immediately glared at each other, questioning the other's answer. Leon bragged no one could beat him in combat training, claiming to be the strongest. Ross Weiss said she would beat him no matter what, even if he had more awards. The hunter teased she married him because she lost to him, but his wife said it was the other way around, and that's why they had kids. He challenged her to settle it outside, something he had wanted for a long time. As Moon asked if they were going to fight, Noah decided they should watch. Soon after, the couple stretched, getting ready for battle while the daughters watched nearby. Moon wondered who would win, and her sister said watching veterans train made them better. Ross Weiss teased her husband, asking if he was ready to fight. Leon said he didn't care because it was a rare chance to fight the Silver Driving Queen. Seeing his determination, Ross Weiss suggested a bet, making him curious. She said if he won, she wouldn't touch him for a month, but if she won, he would grant her a wish. The hunter thought about winning the bet and imagined taking a month off, which was usually impossible. Excited, Leon pointed at her and agreed to the bet. They both smiled challengingly, ready to fight. Leon and Ross Weiss took their positions silently, facing each other. Meanwhile, Moon watched eagerly, eating popcorn on the bench. Her excitement caused her juice to spill on the ground. The noise startled the couple, breaking their focus. While Moon regretted the spill, Noah urged them to start. At her call, the hunter charged with a punch wrapped in blue energy. The queen blocked it easily with one hand. She quickly countered with a tail strike. Leon dodged with a backflip, barely escaping. Supporting himself with one hand, he launched a new attack. He delivered a powerful kick, blocked by her arm. The force pushed her back several meters. She realized she needed distance in close combat. Seeing her step back and unleash magic, he watched closely. She declared winning was all that mattered and prepared a ranged attack. Rosways unleashed an energy blast, which the hunter dodged easily. Moon worried her dad might lose, but her sister said they were using their best strategies. The younger girl concluded their mom wasn't confident in close combat. Impressed, she praised her sister, who learned it in class. Rosways challenged him to dodge her next attack. Amidst the magic, he said he was fast and resilient. Smiling confidently, the dragoness focused her energy for a stronger strike. Suddenly, Leon was surrounded by two massive magic waves. A huge explosion erupted where he stood. The smoke cleared slowly. Unexpectedly, he emerged from the dust, surrounded by lightning, saying the attack was too slow. Rosways was shocked he used lightning magic to strengthen himself. Determined, Leon shouted no one would take his month of vacation. He charged at high speed and attacked her defenses. Seeing the situation, she thought she needed to end the fight quickly because he was being reckless. Noticing an opening, the hunter smiled confidently. He quickly closed in and swept her legs to unbalance her. Surprised, Rosways lost her balance in midair. Moments later, Leon celebrated with his fist raised. As he prepared for the final strike, he saw her falling backward. He quickly grabbed her arm to stop her fall. He pulled her close to him. Leon held her, stopping the battle. They stared at each other, embarrassed, and she softly whispered his name. Suddenly, he panicked, feeling a dragon flame in his chest. He screamed, saying it burned him. Confused, he looked down, not understanding. Rosway scolded him for getting distracted as the flame faded. Soon after, the daughters came over, and Nguyen asked who won. Leon sighed and admitted he lost because he let his guard down. His wife said he was strong without equipment, but he boasted he would beat her at full power. Smiling, she reminded him of their bet. He collapsed in despair, realizing he forgot that part. The girls asked if their dad had died, but Rosways assured them he just needed rest and would be okay soon. That night, in the kids' room at the Silver Dragon's Sanctuary, Leon said goodbye. He asked Noah to look after Moon and told the youngest to behave. He got emotional, worried about leaving his daughters alone. Noah teased him, saying it was just one night with their mom. Panicked, he said spending the night with his wife was worse than execution. Moon joked that their mom would eat their dad, saying she read that females eat males. Leon was worried about her excitement over this idea. Rosways came in and scolded him for such talk. She tucked them in, saying she'd only discuss interesting things with their dad. The girls wondered what those things were, but the adults gave unclear answers. Fed up, Rosways dragged him away, but he asked for a moment to say his last words. As he was taken away, Leon shouted he would always love his daughters, but Noah said adults were immature. In the Queen of the Silver Dragon's room, 2 wine bottles and glasses were ready. She offered him wine, but he refused. After his refusal, she stared at her glass. She reminded him of his promise to fulfill her request after losing a bet. Leon said he needed to stay sober to avoid being tricked. Rosways unexpectedly admitted she wanted him to win. Confused, he asked why. She said if he had won, he'd have time to recover and be more interesting. Suspicious, Leon asked why she didn't just give up. She approached him, saying she thought of a fun game. She tilted her wine glass and poured it on herself, saying she loved his losing expression. Shocked, he asked what she was doing. Rosway seductively told him to drink it all. He thought the wine mixed with her perfume was amazing. He couldn't resist and drank the wine from her body. Rosway gasped in surprise. Afterward, she asked if it was good. Smiling, he said it wasn't enough for her. Rosway told him to open his mouth. She bit her lip, making it bleed. She leaned over, letting a drop of blood fall into his mouth. Alarmed, he realized it was blood and pushed her away, asking what she was doing. Feeling strange, Leon accused her of casting a forbidden spell. She confirmed it was the blood curse he knew. His eyes glowed red. He asked why, and Rosway said she was bothered by his spell on her. Leon asked if she knew the spell's cost. She smiled, saying she changed it to keep only the enchantment. Under the spell, he said his body burned and his mind went blank. Rosway touched his chest, confessing she always forced him to stay with her. She whispered she wanted him to obey, and he laughed breathlessly. Rosway teased him, asking if the brave dragon hunter couldn't control himself. She showed a magical artifact from Sky City that recorded images. Under pressure, he admitted he wanted to kiss her. He froze, only saying one word. Smiling, she asked him to repeat it louder. He immediately shouts that he wants to kiss her but quickly denies it. As she holds his face, Rosway comments on how pathetic he is for begging for a kiss. She then says she won't give him what he wants. The boy stays silent after her refusal. Suddenly, he lunges forward, knocking her down while calling her name. He pins her to the ground, breathless. Even then, she notes that impatience isn't like him. Holding her hand, he admits he wants to kiss and hug her. He finally says he wants to make love to her, and Rosway realizes it's the blood curse affecting him. Smiling, she says it seems like the day has finally broken him. Because of this, she agrees to give in since he's begging so much. She then calls him a little puppy and asks him to show his true self when it's over. The scene then reveals the grand castle they're in. Soon, only the girl's hair is seen on the pillow. Suddenly, he wakes up in bed beside her. With his hand on his head, he laments falling into the same trap again. He concludes the blood curse made him lose his pride and beg. Clenching his teeth, he realizes this is another humiliation beyond his limits. Meanwhile, he sees the cause of it all sleeping peacefully. He touches her face, noticing how defenseless she looks. Suddenly, he's startled by his own actions. He wonders why he's caressing her face. He tries to convince himself he just wanted to wake her up. However, he finds her lack of reaction strange and wonders if she's pretending to sleep. He orders her to stop pretending. Then he asks why she doesn't wake up, always so disciplined. Now standing, he wonders if the blood curse is why she's not waking. He deduces that with her dragon queen body, Rosway's will be out for at least a week. He watches her in bed, thinking silently. Soon, he realizes it's the perfect time to escape. Opening a drawer, he concludes that with the ebony and gold war chariot, he can escape. Dressed, he plans to use potions to speed back to human territory. By the bed, he celebrates, saying she'll wake up too late. He laughs loudly, confident in his victory. But the laugh stops midway. He leans forward, head down. Grabbing a flask, he reflects on leaving the Empire 2 years ago. He decides to be cautious, as returning rashly is dangerous with many mysteries about his capture. Finally, he thinks it's better to wait since he asked Rosway to investigate his master. Then he realizes something more important. In a memory, he sees Mune saying she'll catch the butterfly while No warns her not to fall. He states he can't leave them behind. With arms crossed, he decides to stay in the Silver Dragon's sanctuary for now. Looking at the sleeping girl, he thinks about getting revenge for last night. He teases her, asking if she agrees. Meanwhile, Rosway sleeps deeply. Beside the bed, Mune asks if Mommy is okay since she slept all day. No turns to him, and asks what they did during the night. Smiling, the boy lies that they talked on the balcony, and she caught a cold. He then asks the maid if the girl's condition is serious. Anna reassures him, saying the doctor checked her, and everything is normal despite her weakness. The maid offers to handle internal affairs, and the hunter agrees, telling her to do what's necessary. By the bed, Mune asks her mother to get better soon, promising not to upset her anymore. Watching the scene, he sees Rosway sweating a lot and thinks he should clean her up later. No, feeling suspicious, asks if he's planning something inappropriate. He quickly denies it, saying she's overthinking and he just wants to help the patient. Hearing this, No tells Mune they should leave and come back to see Mommy the next day. At the door, the little one says goodnight to Daddy, and he replies in kind. Alone with the sleeping woman again, he wonders what to do next. Soon, he decides to get some water. After returning, he wrings out a wet cloth in a basin. While cleaning her, he explains he's doing it to prevent her from catching a cold, asking not to be misunderstood. He notices she's so weak she can't even show her big tail. When he's done, he thinks maybe he should change her clothes too. Opening the wardrobe, he sees many choices and decides to pick his favorite. He starts putting together an outfit with bare shoulders, a low neckline, and stockings. Soon, he finds the right clothes to replace what's needed but wonders about the ears. Grabbing her hair, he thinks maybe he could tie it up to fix the problem. Smiling, he announces everything is ready. He then presents Rosway's in her bunny girl version. He admits to himself that she turned out very beautiful, even though he didn't expect it. Suddenly, a mark on his chest starts glowing. Grabbing his shirt, he wonders why the dragon mark is glowing now. He remembers the explanation that the mark reacts when one bearer desires the other. Desperate, he denies having such thoughts while awake, blaming the bunny costume for the reaction. To calm down, he decides to recite the Dragon Hunter's Code of Honor 10 times. Relieved, he admits he almost made a mistake but regrets that dressing Rosways like this won't leave any memory. Meanwhile, she stays asleep in bed wearing the costume. Suddenly, he remembers there was a camera somewhere. He quickly starts looking for it. Soon, he finds the camera he was searching for. Taking several pictures, he celebrates, saying now she's at a disadvantage. He adjusts her face with his finger, asking her to smile for the photo. With the camera in hand, he says he'll keep those photos safe. At that moment, Rosway stirs and murmurs in her sleep. Seeing her move, he panics, wondering if she woke up too soon. He leans in to check, but she stays completely asleep. With a hand on his chest, he sighs in relief, realizing it was a false alarm. Looking outside, he decides to change her back into her pajamas and continue his plan tomorrow. The next day, Myun runs down the hallway calling for her sister. With arms crossed, Noelle asks what happened and tells her to speak up. Myun explains her Rubik's Cube broke, and when she looked for Daddy to fix it, she couldn't find him. Noelle wonders if he used their mother's unconsciousness to escape. To calm her, she says not to worry and promises they'll look for him together. They run down the castle hallway, calling out to find Daddy. Looking for an empty room, Myun calls out, asking where Daddy is. Checking their mother's bedroom, the girl says it seems he's not there. Then they check another room, with Myun confirming he's not there either. She even looks inside a big barrel, calling for her father. Seeing this, Noelle questions how he could be inside there. The younger sister wonders if he got lost since they searched everywhere. Noelle explains that good people eventually leave, just like last time. Not understanding, Myun asks what she means by last time. Noelle says if she's right, the man is already gone and finally escaped, just like he always wanted. In her mind, she reflects that she always thought their family was happy, but it was actually full of lies. She remembers that her dad was always asleep, and her mom just called him their father. The girl recalls that when he woke up, he tried to leave but was brought back, and she felt he never wanted to stay. After that, Noah noticed he tried to be closer, acting like a good dad, teaching her things. But she wondered if he did it out of love or just to make them trust him so he could escape. She thinks that if love has hidden motives, she'd rather not have it than be used. She knows he doesn't belong there, and will eventually leave them. Crying, Myun says mommy won't wake up and daddy doesn't love them, asking her sister what they'll do. Noah comforts her, promising to protect her. Myun hugs her and cries. Noah then says they will hold a farewell ceremony for him. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to the mountains behind the Silver Dragon's sanctuary. With a map, he notes the beautiful view and that the maid was right. The scene flashes back to when Leon asked Anna about the places Her Majesty liked. The maid offered to send someone with him, but he just asked her to mark the spots on the map. He plans to explore now that he can move freely and prepare a surprise for Roswaisi. He reveals that the investigation is just a cover for his revenge plan. He decides to humiliate her in her favorite place, knowing she'll be weak when she wakes up. Near a big tree, he thinks it's perfect. He notes the ground is hard but adding flower petals will help. From there, he can see the dragon's sanctuary, which isn't bad. Looking at the map, he adds the forest to his list. With everything ready, he waits for her to wake up so he can act. He smiles, saying she won't win this time. Back at the sanctuary's courtyard, he hears crying near a bonfire. He finds the maids and asks what's happening. One explains that their highnesses asked for a funeral and a fire. In front of the portrait, Myun cries, offering a steak and asking him to come back. Noah tells her sister to accept that he's gone. Watching, the boy wonders if they're playing house and decides to join in. He approaches and says, "Excuse me," startling the maids who recognize him as the prince. Facing the girls, he asks who they're honoring and offers to play an instrument. Seeing the portrait, he's surprised it's him. Smiling, he comments he looks handsome, but then realizes the truth. He screams, confused about why this is happening. Myun points and shouts that daddy is here. Leon tells his daughters that a funeral is too much since he was only gone a day. The little girl, with tears, calls out to him and runs into his arms, shouting that daddy is back. In his embrace, Myun says she thought he didn't want her. He asks how he could not want them. Noah explains they searched everywhere and thought he left. She realizes she wrongly accused him. Picking Myun up, he tells everyone it's over and they can go. In her dad's arms, the little girl asks if she can eat her offerings now. Once he sets her down, she eagerly runs to the table, and he thinks she got his gluttony. Soon, Noah comes over and asks him to let them know next time before going out alone. She also mentions that Myun was really worried about him. He says sorry for causing worry, thinking the older one is also concerned but too shy to say it. Finally, Noah admits it was her fault for not trusting him. Her apology surprises him. Leon realizes the farewell ceremony was a misunderstanding because of her. He understands it happened because he didn't make her feel safe enough. He sees that Noah wants love but won't make the first move or trust promises. So, he decides to show his love through actions as a dad. Patting the girl's head, he reassures her, suggests they have dinner together, and promises he'll always be there. The next day in the queen's room, Ross Weiss starts to wake up. Slowly, her eyes open. Seeing her awake, Myun cheers, saying Mommy finally woke up. Happily, she says her mom slept for a long time and she was very worried. Smiling, Ross Weiss apologizes for worrying her daughter. Then, she notices she's exhausted and can't feel her magic. She figures her Dragon Queen body is weak because she used her power to save him from the curse. By the bed, Myun says knowing his personality, he's probably already escaped. Ross Weiss asks how long she was out, and the little one says 2 whole days. Thinking there's still time to catch him, Ross Weiss invites Myun to have fish for dinner. Suddenly, Leon enters with a big fish, saying he just caught it in the mountains. Excitedly, he asks if Daddy isn't amazing, and the daughter agrees, saying he's super amazing. Then, the boy turns and sees the queen is awake. Surprised, she asks why he's still there, and he says she finally woke up. Smiling, he explains he went out for fresh air and caught a fish for his dear wife. As she asks who this dear is, Myun says her dad is shameless. Then Liam gives his daughter the job of taking the fish to the kitchen. Excited, she says she'll handle it and takes on the task eagerly. As Myun leaves, the boy tells her to eat first because he and Mommy need to talk. Alone with him, Rosway says she thought he'd leave the girls and run while she was unconscious. Taking off his gloves, he asks how he could leave when they have many unresolved issues. Confused, she asks what issues he's talking about. He reminds her of what she did when he woke up a month ago. Panicked, Rosways begs him not to say he's planning that. With a triumphant smile, he confirms her fears. Rosways warns him not to take advantage of her weakness, and not to do anything reckless. Leon questions her use of the word weak. He reminds her he was also weak then, as she marked him with the dragon's seal without letting him refuse. She warns that when she regains her strength, he'll pay for it, so he better not do anything he'll regret. The boy says he won't regret it, calling her his dear wife. As he carries her, he says it's the best decision he's ever made. He declares it's her turn to be the prisoner of war. As he carries her through the cherry blossom forest, Rosways orders him to put her down. Even as she struggles, he warns her to stop moving or she'll fall. Rosways declares if she had her strength back, she'd send him flying with one punch. Leon gently places her under a big cherry blossom tree. Once seated, she asks why he brought her there. He tells her he found out her favorite spots while she was out cold, and this is the first stop for the night. She wonders what he means by first stop, and if there are more places to visit. Leon points to a far-off shrine, saying it's the best view. Rosways asks if he's seeking revenge for what happened in his homeland. He nods, saying dragons have the right to return favors. The seal on his chest starts glowing. Leon says that even as a human, he has a strong sense of duty. He holds her, urging her to look ahead. He points to a distant palace, calling it her pride and dignity. As he nudges her forward, he asks how it feels to be beaten by a fallen dragon hunter. Moving closer, he says this is what she did to him. Rosways admits she wants to fight back, but her body craves more. Determined, she thinks, and her tail wraps around him. Surprised, he wonders how she still has the strength. He declares the night is long and the revenge feast is just starting for Her Majesty. The next morning, they're in the Silver Dragon Queen's bedroom. Waking up beside her, he feels triumphant. He's tired from tormenting her all night, but sees she's peacefully asleep. He believes she felt everything, and his revenge worked. She stays asleep beside him. He decides to return to his room before the maids wake up. As he tries to leave, she holds his hand, murmuring. Half asleep, she says she's cold. Liam thinks it's natural to seek warmth, and he shouldn't be fooled again. Still, he gently holds her hand. Myun wakes up and wonders if her mom is still asleep. Birds chirp outside the window. She remembers how to treat insect bites and finds the ointment. She runs to the bed, asking her mom to wake up since it's morning. Sleepy, Rosways tells her to play with her dad. Myun then tries to wake her dad, saying the sun is shining on his butt. Leon grumbles, wanting more sleep. Annoyed, she asks who'll play with her if they stay snuggled up. He kisses his wife's forehead as they cuddle. Myun watches and says it's the first time she's seen them so loving. She asks about the red dots on their bodies. She thinks they're insect bites. She assures them not to worry and says she'll take care of it. She starts applying ointment, adding extra on her dad. Later, Rosways calls her husband to wake up. He opens his eyes and wonders why his face is wet. He sees they're covered in green ointment and laughs, asking about her face. Myun proudly says she treated them for insect bites. Rosways questions the marks, while Leon says some things kids shouldn't know. Myun asks if she did well. He praises her, saying she did a great job. She promises to apply medicine again next time, and the adults agree to keep the door shut. Later, Leon brings a bowl of food and offers a spoonful to his wife. Confused, she asks what he's doing. He urges her to eat, reminding her that even dragons get hungry after days without food. Roswell insists she can feed herself. After tasting the food, she admits it's not bad. He proudly says it's fried rice made with love. She questions why he's eating too, and he says he's just helping. She demands another spoonful. Soon, they finish the bowl. Leon reminds her that he's been taking care of her, helping her bathe, cooking, and feeding her. Roswell asks if he's referring to the bathing or the bed torment, admitting it was a bit much. Leon denies it was torture, saying it was just a husband's care. As he leaves, Roswell warns him that every foolish act gives her more reasons to embarrass him later. Alone, she calls him a dragon hunter, admitting he's good at tormenting her. She punches the headboard, cracking the wood. Surprised, she sees the damage and realizes her strength is back. Meanwhile, Leon washes dishes, hoping the dragoness won't recover too soon so he can enjoy more fun days, unaware of the serious situation. Later, at the palace, the maid Anna apologizes to Her Majesty and gives her medicine from the doctor to help her regain strength. The woman refuses, saying she's already recovered. The servant notices the cracked headboard and asks about it. Roswell admits she overdid it and asks for someone to fix it the next day. As the maid leaves, she's called back. Hidden behind a book, the queen asks her not to tell Leon about her recovery because she wants him to keep caring for her. Anna is surprised but smiles, saying she understands. The dragoness thinks her husband's peaceful days are numbered. 2 days later, Myun asks her dad to teach her how to make her body glow. Liam asks if she means the magic he and her mom showed during training. He asks why she wants to learn magic now. The girl says her sister learned a lot at school, and she doesn't want to fall behind. The man understands and confirms she wants to learn too, and Myun agrees excitedly. He realizes the sister's rivalry is good because the younger one admires her sister and doesn't want to lag. So, he agrees to teach magic, starting with mana basics. Later, Myun works hard on the training. Leon is impressed. In hours, she's channeling mana easily and might awaken her power soon. He wonders if she's a genius. He's interrupted when she says she's hungry and tired. Liam decides not to rush the training. He announces they'll stop for the day and eat, and Myun cheers that Daddy is the best. Back in the room, Anna delivers what was requested, and Rosweiss tells her to leave it in a corner. When Leon arrives, his wife dismisses the maid. He thinks Anna said Rosweiss needs 5 more days to recover, giving him time to tease her. He offers a massage if she's sore. The warrior challenges him, saying he's a disappointment for not lasting more than 2 days. Surprised, he asks her to repeat it. He calls her Mommy Dragon and says he thought of letting her rest, but he was wrong. Holding her chin, Leon thought that if she could talk tough, she must be strong too. As he removed his shirt, Leon warned her she might regret her words. Smiling, the woman said she never regrets anything. Suddenly, Rosweiss's tail wrapped around his waist, surprising him. With a swift move, she threw him onto the bed with her tail. Pinning him down, her husband was amazed by her strength. He then realized and asked if she had fully recovered. Rosweiss silenced him, saying a prisoner should know when to be quiet. Beside the bed, a tray with restraint items was ready. Surprised, he asked when she had prepared all that. With his wrists and ankles tied, he wondered if he had walked into a trap. Looking down at him, the dragoness warned him not to resist. Leon asked if she planned to torture him for information. Tied to the bed, Leon said he had special training and wouldn't give in, but Rosweiss asked if he was sure. A recording from a magic crystal played a memory of him saying he wanted to kiss her. Realizing what it was, he begged her to give him the object. She teased him, asking who was begging her. In the recording, Leon's voice stammered her name. Desperately, he denied it, saying it wasn't him and they just looked alike. Rosweiss asked if he wanted to see the scene up close. The image showed him saying he wanted to hug her, kiss her, and be with her. The prisoner gave in, saying he remembered everything. The dragoness said it was good he remembered, then picked up a whip from beside the bed. She ordered him to repeat what he said in the recording. She teased him again, offering to summarize if he couldn't remember. The silhouettes of the two were behind a divider. The lamp's light lit the room at night. Moments later, Leon lay on the bed, exhausted. As he rested, Rosweiss got a letter from a messenger dragon. Her husband asked if the letter was from the academy, and why it came so late. She said the academy wanted them there the next day. She revealed that Noah had been in a fight, shocking him. Meanwhile, in Vice Principal Wilson's office, Noah waited silently. Across from her, 3 horned boys were injured and bandaged. The vice principal explained he called them to discuss the girl's fight with classmates. Rosweiss asked what he meant. She wanted to know if the 3 young dragons had bullied her daughter. Leon looked at Noah with concern, but the girl said she was fine. The educator clarified that their daughter had beaten up the 3 boys. Hearing the truth, Rosweiss asked if that was all. After the revelation, father and daughter sat silently together. Leon soon praised Noah for doing well, confirming she was his daughter. The vice principal explained that the incident showed tensions between dragons born from cocoons and those from wombs. Dragons reproduce both ways, and while there's no difference in adulthood, their abilities vary when young. He explained that cocoon-born dragons inherit strength from their mothers, while womb-born dragons learn it, making the former stronger at the same age. He concluded that even though she was womb-born, the girl faced 3 older cocoon-born opponents, showing her promising future. Suddenly, one boy's father arrived and offered to pay medical expenses, downplaying the situation. But when he saw his son's condition, he asked how it happened. The boy ran crying into his father's arms. Rosweiss whispered that the boy was from the Crimson Dragon King's family, and Leon quietly said he had killed so many dragons from that clan they could circle the academy twice. The nobleman asked the queen why she let her daughter scare other dragons. Liam jumped in, teasing that since they weren't strong, they sent kids to bother his. The student's dad demanded an apology, but Liam said he was ready to fight. The vice principal slammed his hand on the desk, telling everyone to be quiet. He asked the parents to calm down and hear the whole story. He explained that in the cafeteria, Laurel and his friends argued with Noah after her tray stained his clothes. Later, the 3 boys cornered her in a courtyard, leading to a fight. After explaining, the educator asked if the boys had anything to say, but they just shook their heads. Then, Noah raised her hand, saying she had something to declare. Vice Principal Wilson asked if Noah had something to say. Noah explained that Laurel provoked her on purpose in the cafeteria and attacked her later, saying she only defended herself. She then looked at the boy, asking him to confirm if it was true. Laurel nodded silently, and his father asked why he was scared of her. Suddenly, Leon told his daughter he thought she made a mistake. The girl looked at him, waiting for more. Her father advised her to aim for the opponent's knee next time, making Noah ask why. He said a crimson dragon with a knee injury in battle gets beaten badly, and she noted the advice. Outraged, Laurel's father accused Leon of teaching his daughter to bully his son. He demanded the violent student be expelled. The vice principal asked for calm, saying only the academy could decide on expulsion. Wilson revealed that many students reported Laurel's habit of bothering others, and witnesses confirmed he provoked Noah first. The boy's father shouted, questioning if the academy wouldn't punish the girl and was blaming his son. Liam asked what he was complaining about if his daughter, just 1 year and 2 months old, beat up his son. Laurel interrupted, saying he was 7 years and 11 months old. The man remarked that if something that embarrassing happened to him, he'd dig a 3,000-meter hole and hide. Laurel's father retorted, saying someone who hides his own tail shouldn't speak about his son. He pointed at Ross Weiss and Noah, calling their family trash. Liam grabbed the man's hand, saying he'd let the insult slide if it was just him, but not for his wife and daughter. Watching, Ross Weiss said her husband was very protective of his family. The nobleman demanded to know how Liam dared touch him, and if he knew who he was talking to. He got angry, declaring himself a duke of the Crimson Dragon clan, while Liam mocked him. Ross Weiss turned to Leon, calling him father sir. She warned this was just a minor student dispute, and that family status wouldn't help. Ross Weiss told the vice principal she trusted the academy's judgment, and would accept their decision. The educator warned the man that if he kept causing a scene, he'd make things worse. Wilson added his son might lose the right to study at the academy. Laurel tugged at his father, asking to let it go. The man finally admitted he lost his temper, and would accept the school's decision. In the end, he said he'd leave for now, but this wasn't over. The vice principal summed up, saying Laurel started the conflict and Noah defended herself, though she overreacted. He ruled that the girl would get a verbal warning from her teacher and should think about her actions. Laurel and his friends had to write a report and clean the classroom as punishment. Noah said goodbye, mentioning she'd return to class, and her mom let her go. As she left, Leon jokingly told her to aim for the knees if anyone bothered her again. Suddenly, the vice principal appeared, surprising Leon by calling his name. Leon turned and asked if Wilson needed something. Wilson mentioned he was curious why Leon never showed his tail. Leon was momentarily speechless. Wilson then asked which dragon clan Leon belonged to. Rosways jumped in, saying her husband was just a regular dragon, and Leon agreed, calling himself a simple commoner. The vice principal accepted this and commented that it was amazing they had such a talented daughter. He suggested they should have more kids and expressed confidence that Noah would lead dragons to victory over hunters when she graduated, to which Leon simply replied with thanks. From afar, Laurel's dad watched them talking. He then told his group to leave. At the academy's entrance, Leon and Rosways were leaving when Laurel's dad stopped them and addressed Rosways as the queen of the Silver Dragons. Rosways asked if he had more to say. The man said the office agreement was just to avoid trouble with the academy. He warned that outside they'd settle things the dragon way. He then challenged Leon to a duel. Refusing would make it seem like the Silver Dragons were weak. Their rival mocked them, asking if they'd back down. Rosways quietly asked Leon if he wanted to fight. Leon said he'd accept since the man offered. His wife agreed but asked him not to kill the man. Meanwhile, students rushed to see the duel, suspecting it involved Noah's parents. On a balcony, students pointed and wondered who was fighting. The challenger thought Leon was weak and cowardly for not showing his tail. He said he'd beat the girl's father to restore his family's honor. He proposed that if Leon lasted 3 rounds, he'd consider it a loss. Leon interrupted, urging him to start, which angered the man. The noble charged with a fiery punch at Leon. As Leon blocked, the challenger thought Leon was weaker than other dragons he'd faced. He smiled, thinking there were 2 rounds left. Frustrated as Leon stepped back, the opponent accused him of running. He mocked him, asking if he was from the cowardly turtle clan while hitting the ground. Leon jumped to avoid the shockwave. The nobleman then shot fire at him. Leon watched the fire calmly but dodged it easily, appearing beside his opponent. Leon announced it was his turn to attack. He kicked the noble's knee, making him scream. Kneeling, the man looked at Leon in disbelief. Leon quickly followed with a punch to the face, sending the man flying. Leon dusted off his hands, saying he didn't need magic for someone like that. The nobleman's followers panicked and shouted Duke Lael's name. Leon asked if they wanted to fight too. They quickly refused, saying they didn't want to fight. Leon told them to take the Duke and leave, and to tell his son not to bother his daughter again. Happy with the situation, he turned around and said they could leave. But he was surprised to see Noah and asked when she got there. She said she was just passing by and noticed the noise. Noah handed a box to her parents, saying it was for them. Inside, Rosways found a big heart-shaped cookie. Noah explained she made the cookies in cooking class and came in 2nd place, so they might not be perfect, but she wanted them to try. Rosways disagreed, saying they were great and insisted Leon try some too. Her husband agreed, saying anything their daughter made had to be tasty, and promised she'd win first place next time. Noah then praised him, saying he was amazing earlier. Leon was speechless for a moment, but then beamed at her words. He regained his cool and boasted that of course, her dad was amazing. He patted Noah's head and offered to teach her any fighting moves she wanted. Rosways watched him silently with a serious look. Later, Leon was on the sofa, reading a book. Rosways came over and asked if his hand was hurt, surprising him. He looked at the cut, and said it was minor, and would heal soon. She prepared some medicine to treat it. As she got closer, he thought about how he often got scars from fighting dragons and usually treated them carelessly. He realized it was the first time someone cared for him so gently. He noticed how soft and warm her hand was as she helped him. Rosways thanked him for protecting her, but he said it was his duty since she was his wife. She then mentioned her sister invited them, and when he heard they might settle some scores, he agreed to go. They left, and soon reached the Red Dragon's land. When they arrived, he, holding Niam, announced they were there and asked the girl to wake up. The older sister came over and greeted his dragon form, calling him Xiaolu. She then said her own dragon form was still amazing. Suddenly, Rosways appeared in human form and was hugged by her sister, who praised her while she said it tickled. The woman introduced her husband, who was warmly greeted and told it was nice to finally meet him awake. The hostess hugged one of the girls, guessing she was Myeon and the other Noah, with the little one confirming she was right. The aunt then asked Noah if she could hug her too. Excited, Noah said hugging two little dragon girls was pure joy. The hostess thanked Leon for his efforts, saying she heard he looked after the girls most of the time. Rosway said she was sure the girls liked her more, but he disagreed, saying that wasn't true. As she challenged him, her husband gave in, and their sister noted how well they got along. The wife shyly agreed they got along, just a bit. The sister then invited them inside, saying they must be tired from the long trip. Suddenly, Nuz shouted she wanted to see what Auntie had to show, shocking Rosways. She demanded her sister hand over the photos she was hiding, only to be teased as her sister said she looked embarrassed. The hostess ran down the hall, chased by her sister, trying to get the photos back. Leon commented he hadn't expected that side of his wife, and the girls eagerly asked to see it too. He showed them the photo and teased the Valkyrie, saying how lively she looked as a student. He revealed it was a picture of her giving a speech as a top student. Then he asked how she became so cold and distant, before shouting as the photo was snatched back from him. In a quiet voice, the blonde warned him not to get too confident because he might be the next target for her sister's teasing. Then the aunt mentioned she had many more photos from when their mom was young, urging the girls to keep looking. When they found the baby pictures, one girl noted how small their mom was, and Myeon said she wanted to hug her. Leon joined in, saying their mom looked really stylish in one photo, and Myeon moved closer to see. Soon, the sister explained the picture was from when Ross Weiss became queen of the Silver Dragons. Leon was amazed and said she looked incredible. When they saw it was the last page, Myeon complained there weren't more photos of their mom. Ross Weiss then took the album and said since they were done, her sister should store the pictures safely. However, the sister said they weren't finished and asked if they knew what she held. Leon quickly and excitedly said he knew. It was a recording stone. The aunt asked if the girls wanted to see moving images of their mom, and they eagerly agreed. Ross Weiss begged her sister not to show what was on the stone, reminding her she was the youngest. Leon immediately asked his sister-in-law to show them, thinking Ross Weiss's protest meant it was embarrassing. The blonde yelled her sister's name in protest while the other smiled. The sister decided that since it was Leon's first visit, she would grant his request and save the youngest's wish for next time. Leon cheered, but Ross Weiss warned she wouldn't bring him again. With that, the recording stone was turned on. As the projection started, the sister announced it was a super valuable video. Ross Weiss quickly recognized the place in the recording. She tried to cover Leon's eyes and told him not to watch, but he wanted to know what it was. In the video, the sister asked young Ross Weiss how she'd choose a husband, making her embarrassed. The girl said the person had to have better grades than hers and be first many times. She added the person needed to be responsible and like kids, which one daughter noted was just like what their mom said about dad. Soon, the video showed the husband should be powerful but not misuse power, making Leon proudly say she was talking about him. The sister commented those qualities were rare since many people get corrupted by power. At the end, young Ross Weiss declared if no one like that existed, she wouldn't marry. The video ended with her saying she'd only marry someone like that. Leon was moved by her words, realizing they were her ideal from the start. Even so, Ross Weiss said it was just something silly she said when young, but he reassured her not to be embarrassed. Then the sister asked who chased whom first. They both pointed at each other, shouting the other did the chasing. She challenged him to repeat what he said if he dared. Leon quickly changed his story, admitting she chased him first, but he regretted it and pursued her later. Seeing this, the hostess said they got along well, which they both denied. The older sister offered to show love letters Ross Weiss used to get, making her ask why she kept them. Unable to hold back, the Valkyrie screamed, demanding to burn all those letters. Later, Leon quietly told her they'd have to share a room that night. When they entered, they found it decorated in an overly romantic way. Shocked, they both asked what was going on. As soon as she walked in, Rosways asked her sister what had happened there. Her sister replied that she had set up the guest room for them to stay a few days. The Valkyrie then asked if there was another room, but her sister insisted they shouldn't be shy since they were married. Rosways realized she had let her guard down, and that dealing with her sister was tricky. The hostess then revealed her plan to lock them in so they could complete their mission of reviving the race. Leon immediately said he wanted to leave and tried to get out, but his sister-in-law blocked him, asking where he was going. He tried to use the daughters as an excuse, but she assured him she had prepared a room full of toys for them. Meanwhile, Myun and Noah were happily working on a puzzle. Then the sister locked the couple inside, telling them to rest well. Alone, they sighed, feeling stuck. Leon concluded they had no choice but to sleep there, admitting his sister-in-law was very strategic. As she opened a wardrobe, the Valkyrie commented that her sister had always been like that, and he'd understand better over time. Suddenly, she slammed the wardrobe shut, leaving Leon puzzled. Rosways then told him that since there was only one bed, he would have to sleep in the bathtub. Frustrated, Leon asked why he had to take the bathtub. He pointed out the drain was plugged and the tub was full, showing his sister-in-law wanted them to sleep together. As he approached the bed, he noticed it seemed different. He wondered if it might be a waterbed. Without thinking, he jumped onto the mattress, saying how soft and bouncy it was while she watched. He then said he wouldn't let her enjoy the bed alone and suggested they sleep together. Suspicious, she asked why he changed his mind and if he was planning something. Impatient, the Valkyrie asked if he wanted to sleep or not. She suggested they play with the items in the wardrobe, making him back away and say it wasn't necessary. She decided to shower first and warned him not to peek. He replied he didn't even feel like it. Not believing him, she told him to take a walk before bed and kicked him out. On the balcony, Leon remarked he'd seen her so many times she didn't catch his attention anymore. Suddenly, he sensed someone else. It was Rosway's sister, watching him silently. She asked why he was outside, and Leon said his wife was in the bath and he stepped out for air. She approached with a bottle of wine and invited him to drink. Smiling, Leon accepted. As she poured, she mentioned it was the Valkyrie's favorite. He thanked her as he took the glass. Soon, he commented that they seemed to get along well, and the sister confirmed it, saying they often drank and talked out here. She shared that she watched Rosways grow up and that after she became queen, they mostly exchanged letters until her marriage and pregnancy announcement. She explained that even after the wedding, her sister's sadness was clear in the letters. She revealed Rosways had told her the husband was sick and slept a lot, leaving her alone during the tough pregnancy with twins. Leon realized how hard it must have been for his partner to go through it all without him, relying only on her sister. The hostess confessed she thought her sister had married a lazy and irresponsible dragon. He laughed and asked if he looked like that kind of dragon. Soon, she admitted that after spending time with him, she realized he wasn't garbage and maybe there was a reason behind it all. She concluded by saying it only confirmed how much the queen truly cared about him. Leon paused mid-sip, thinking about what he heard. Then he quietly wondered if Rosways really liked him that much. Even so, he dismissed the idea, insisting it was impossible that the dragon mother could like him. His sister-in-law jokes with him, asking if he's feeling sorry for himself, but Leon snaps back that she doesn't understand her own sister. He admits they have to pretend to get along in front of her. Then, he tells the hostess their love is real. She replies she already knew because of how they act around each other. She explains Rosway struggles to show emotions, and Leon is the first she's treated this way. She reminds him of his duty as a man, making him think he'll be in trouble if he refuses. Leon promises her that even though he missed his wife's first pregnancy, he'll be there for the next one. He vows to protect his wife and daughters with his life. His sister-in-law hopes he keeps that promise. She then tells him to stop bragging and return to the room before his wife gets impatient. As he's leaving, she calls him back for one more thing. Curious, Leon turns to ask what she wants to say. She advises him not to hold back tonight, mentioning the room's soundproofing is amazing. Her comment leaves him speechless. He closes his eyes, unsure how to reply. As the castle is shown at night, Leon silently thanks her for the help. He quietly returns to the room, finding Ross Weiss already asleep. As he approaches, he wonders if she's really asleep. He decides he won't suffer tonight, admitting she looks beautiful sleeping. The Valkyrie lies there in deep sleep. Suddenly, something in the bed catches his eye. He wonders why her chest is glowing under the blanket. He questions if the dragon seal has activated, but his own seal isn't reacting, so he tries to figure it out. With no other choice, he reaches out to check the light under the sheet. To his surprise, Ross Weiss opens her eyes and greets him. Startled, Leon asks why she scared him with a lamp under the blanket. She reveals she found it among the toys and wanted to play a trick. She teases him, saying he didn't seem disappointed by his reaction. He quickly denies it, saying it's not true. Then he covers himself, saying he's going to sleep and asks her not to talk to him. Ross Weiss warns him not to regret it and try to attack her at night. Suddenly, a spider lands in front of her, leaving her confused. Once she realizes what it is, she screams. At her scream, Leon jumps up, startled, and asks what happened. Ross Weiss jumps into his arms, leaving him more confused. Clinging to him, she warns there's a spider in the room. Leon remembers seeing a photo of her crying over a spider, wondering if it's an old fear. He concludes even the queen of the silver dragons has fears. He says he'll catch the creature, while the Valkyrie asks him to hurry. He approaches and picks up the spider with his hand. Holding it, he realizes it's not real. He shows her it's just a toy spider, and she doesn't need to be scared. Still, Ross Weiss insists he gets rid of it immediately, real or not. Seeing her reaction, he calms her and promises to throw it out. He tosses the spider out the window. He turns to her and says the thread is gone, asking if she can sleep now. He wonders if the spider was part of the sister-in-law's plan. He thinks it was to show Ross Weiss's vulnerable side. Calmer now, she asks if she can sleep inside the bed while he stays outside. Leon agrees, saying she can sleep wherever she wants. Moments later, they lie in the same bed, each facing their own way. After a while, he turns and asks if she wants to hold his hand if she's still scared. The Valkyrie looks at him for a moment before answering. Then she agrees, saying she will since he insists. Her hand finds his under the blanket. He asks if holding just his pinky makes her feel safe, and she asks what he thinks it should be like. He calls her silly and shows her how to properly hold hands by intertwining their fingers. They lie silently, just looking at each other while holding hands. She wonders aloud how he can hold her so naturally, questioning if she's the only one who feels that way. Soon, she scolds herself, reminding herself she's the queen of dragons and there's nothing wrong with holding a hand. He asks why her hand is so cold, but seeing her sweating, Ross Weiss reveals that the cold hand is actually his nervous one. Feeling the touch, she notices his hand has the calluses and scars of a sword wielder, stiff yet warm. She realizes that where their fingers interlace, it's like a current flows across her skin. The girl falls silent, only reacting to that sensation of touch. As the night passes, Leon asks her about her criteria for a partner, but she says she was joking and now has none at all. The night continues, and they remain lying silently. Even trying, he realizes he can't sleep at all. He looks to the side and wonders if Ross Weiss has already fallen asleep, noticing his fingers going numb from staying in the same position and decides to shift them a little. Pretending to sleep, Ross Weiss wonders why, instead of just holding her hand, he is now poking it. Finally, she concludes that the prisoner dares to touch his mistress. Determined, she thinks fine, then she will touch him too. In the next moment, Leon jolts as he feels her touch. Confused, he wonders what's happening and why the Valkyrie is caressing his hand. He notices her body is so soft and that where they touch, he feels a pleasant sensation. With that, a strange desire begins to grow rapidly inside him. At the same time, the desire is mutual, and both think the same thing. Assuming the thought evolves, they both feel they want to go beyond that simple touch. Next, their faces draw close slowly as they gaze at each other in silence. Leon then takes the initiative and moves over her, pulling the blanket over them. Before kissing her, he thinks he will surrender to the moment, just for tonight. Then the boy positions himself over Ross Weiss on the bed, ready to move forward. Meanwhile, she just softly whispers his name. In response, Leon agrees with a low hum, leaning closer to her. Even knowing what's about to happen, he's surprised that his dragon mark isn't reacting at all. It's soon revealed that the mark only spices things up and isn't activated when two people truly love each other. However, the moment is interrupted when the toy spider falls right between them. With a scream echoing through the house, he quickly assures her there's no need to be afraid as he already grabbed the spider. Outside the room, Ross Weiss's sister concludes they've likely discovered the little surprise she set up. Back in the room, Leon holds her and comforts her, saying there's nothing to fear and everything is fine now. As the spider rests in the garden, he says he's checked everything and there are no more traps. He just continues holding her gently in silence. Nestled against his chest, the Valkyrie comments that his heart is beating very fast. He then confesses that he's also afraid of spiders. After hearing the confession, she decides not to pull stunts like that on him anymore. Finally, he asks her not to talk about what happened, and Rosways assures him she understands. When morning comes, sunlight filters through the bedroom window. Suddenly, she opens her eyes. As she sits up in bed, she wonders when she fell asleep. Next, she asks herself if that guy woke up early. Still, she concludes it's better if he's already left. She admits that after what happened, she doesn't know how to face him. As she gets up, she reflects that it was the first time she broke her own principles. While getting dressed, she laments having shown weakness to a human by falling asleep in his arms. Fully ready, she decides that it's far too embarrassing and that she can't tell anyone. As soon as she opens the door, her sister surprises her, asking if she's already up. Immediately afterward, her sister-in-law asks how her exciting night was. Rosways replies that it was very exciting, but she doesn't want it to happen again. Her sister quietly asks if they used the toys, and she quickly says no. The sister then promises to pack toys for practice and asks about the next baby's hair. Embarrassed, Rosways tells her not to worry and invites her to breakfast. In the dining hall of the Red Dragon Sanctuary, Leon hangs out with the girls while waiting for food. He gently pinches Muin's cheeks, and she opens her mouth in response. When Rosways and her sister enter, Muin excitedly announces that Mommy and Auntie are here. The little girl then happily asks if they can start eating. The family sits down to eat breakfast quietly. While eating, the couple avoids looking at each other. Chewing, Leon thinks about how awkward everything is. He remembers almost kissing her last night and falling asleep hugging her. This makes him feel torn. One part of him feels guilty for betraying his homeland, while the other reminds him they're married. As he struggles with this, he notices the bread tastes bland. He reaches for peanut butter to make it better, but Rosway stops him by touching his hand. They're both surprised by the touch. Her sister then reveals the bed's secret, saying she made the waterbed to make their hearts race. She adds that buttons on the bed release toy spiders to scare Rosways. The sister-in-law explains the mechanism only stays off if they're hugging, making Rosways angry at the silly plan. During breakfast, Leon insists Rosway serve herself first, and she agrees. Her sister then asks why they're blushing. The warrior quickly says it's hot, and Leon agrees. Her relatives suggest they go back to the room for a bath, but they both refuse. Rosway's sister finds their reactions amusing no matter how much she teases them. Changing the topic, she asks Leon if they had a fight with the Crimson Dragon clan. She then tells how Noah defended herself from the Duke's son, and her partner bragged about beating the Duke. Her sister praises Noah, saying she's amazing. She explains the Duke exaggerated the events to leader Constantine, claiming Rosways insulted him. Leon remembers reading that Constantine was a hero who expanded the clan's land. Her sister warns that Constantine might use the incident to start trouble. Rosways declares what she'll do if he attacks her sanctuary because of a Duke. She says she won't hesitate to teach the Crimson Dragon clan a lesson. The group reaches the main entrance of the Red Dragon's sanctuary. At the farewell, her sister asks them to return safely, and Rosways promises to visit again. She gives them a gift, asking them to open it at home, and the warrior thanks her. She tells the twins to eat lots of meat to grow strong and come back to play. Num says she'll eat more, while Noah just nods. Her sister then gives Leon a final message, reminding him of a promise. He assures her he'll keep it. Rosways watches, not knowing what it's about. The girls wave goodbye as they fly off, and her sister wishes them a safe trip. Inside, she walks through the empty hall. She comments to herself on how cute the little dragon girls are. Then she wonders when the couple's next child will be born. Suddenly, a spider drops from the ceiling in front of her. Picking it up, she realizes Leon really protected his wife bravely. Far away, Leon sneezes for no reason. With the girls asleep on his lap, he wonders if her sister found the surprise he left. He reflects on how Rosways and her sister are so different from the Dragon Kings he knew before. He thought about how much they valued family, and showed real love. He quietly admitted he was amazed by the trust her sister had in him. As they flew, Rosways asked him about what happened when they left. She soon asked what he promised her sister, but Leon teased her, asking if she really wanted to know. He said he wouldn't tell her, making her very angry. By night, they reached their sanctuary. The twins were already asleep in bed. As she left the room, Rosways closed the door and saw Leon waiting outside. She paused, and he encouraged her to keep going. Then, he shared his revenge plan and asked her to perform the embarrassing video from the day before. He started mimicking the video where a young Rosway sang about enjoying baths and scrubbing her butt. The warrior could only shout his name in response. Meanwhile, at the Red Dragon Sanctuary, her sister invited Moon to watch more videos of Rosways, and Moon eagerly agreed. Soon, the ant whispered Moon's name and asked her to follow. The little girl followed her aunt to a glowing door. On the other side, her mom sang about loving baths and how great her body felt. She continued singing about scrubbing her butt and blowing bubbles, showing young Rosways in the bath. Leon sarcastically praised his wife's singing, comparing it to the lark. The woman yelled she needed to destroy the recording, but her sister stopped her, saying it would be a family heirloom. Her sister's gift was on the table, and Leon commented with relief that the box survived. Leon laughed and said it was all a big joke. Rosways looked at him and said it was clear he was bored. She grabbed his collar and called him by name, hinting at serious consequences. Suddenly, she suggested they continue where they left off. He realized the teasing went too far. He decided to run, but she yelled at him to stop. When he tried to escape, he found the bedroom door blocked. Rosways appeared and gave him 10 minutes to get to her room. She warned she'd show him the consequences of teasing her with those videos. He stood at the door, thinking about what happened. He lamented that his own actions always got him into trouble. He didn't expect her reaction. He concluded that her past was her biggest weak spot. Out loud, he said that even if he gets hurt, it's the price for hunting dragons. With tears, he accepted his fate, saying his body might break if needed. Thinking of Rosways, he decided it was worth it if it made the Silver Dragon Queen suffer. Meanwhile, she took a bath, thinking it was her duty to punish him. Ready, Leon warned her to prepare for what's coming. 10 minutes later, as he entered the room, a scream was heard. Lying on the bed, he asked Rosways to be gentle. With a whip, she introduced herself and told him to call her mistress. Surprised, he teased her, calling her an actress. Rosways called him an idiot. She hit him with a whip, making him scream. She warned him he said it wrong again, as he didn't understand his situation. He thought the whip didn't hurt much but felt strange. He realized her goal was to embarrass him with roleplay. He understood the act. Rosways was the teacher, and he was the rebellious student. To continue, she asked if he knew where he went wrong. In character, he apologized to his mistress and promised to obey and not make mistakes. Rosways asked if he was ready to turn in his assignment. Confused, he asks what the assignment is. She scolds him, questioning how he can promise to study without knowing the task. He then asks her to tell him the assignment, and she says he's lucky she's understanding. She reveals today's task is to make her dragon mark shine. She warns that the punishment will be worse if he fails, and Leon accepts the challenge. He places his hand on her to start. He thinks that after many nights together, he knows every sensitive spot on her body. His touch soon has the desired effect. Rosways praises him, saying he learned quickly. They continue the task intensely in the bedroom. Leon asks if the task is finished and if it's good enough. Rosways says it was just a warm-up before the real lesson. She reminds him he hasn't turned in his homework yet. Surprised, he asks if that counts as part of the assignment. He laments, knowing she won't let him rest, defeated by the dragoness's claws. He wonders if it's because of the dragon mark on his chest. He notices his mouth is dry. His body grows restless, and he holds her tighter. The game between them intensifies on the bed. Rosways comments that Leon is being naughty. He asks if that's not what the teacher wanted. She encourages him to continue, telling him to go faster. Their hands clasp tightly. After a while, Leon catches his breath. After the long night, he reflects that the game is finally over. While dressing, he asks if he can leave since he turned in the lesson. As he's about to leave, Rosways grabs him to stop him. She informs him he's only completed one subject and 6 more remain. Not understanding, he asks what she means. A cry of despair echoes through the night. Leon accuses her of being addicted to work, but she orders him to prepare to spend the night doing homework. Rosways watches with a smile. The next morning, she is refreshed, while he has dark circles and trembling steps. The twins find him, and Noah asks why he looks like he hasn't slept, while Mute points to the dark ring under his eye. He explains he stayed up late writing homework. Mute asks if adults have homework, and Rosways confirms they do, just like kids. The answer leaves the girls silent. Suddenly, Myeon shares a powerful rule she discovered. She explains when mommy is well, daddy becomes weak, and vice versa. Leon praises Myeon, saying she's clever for noticing a truth most miss. He promises to defend her if anyone says she's only cute. Hearing this, Noah watches with crossed arms. She looks at the sky and announces his arrival. She says goodbye to her mother and sister. Ross Weiss tells her to be careful, and Myeon asks her to come back soon to play. Leon says goodbye, asking Noah to study and that they'll see each other next weekend. The girl nods. She says she's off, enveloped by teleportation energy. As Myeon says goodbye to her sister and a dragon, the family watches her leave. The father asks the little one what they'll do now that her sister is at school. Myeon thinks her daddy is always tired, and mommy seems worried. She declares she'll make sure daddy trains and gets stronger. She pulls his arm and invites him to run in the training field, and he agrees. Ross Weiss watches and reflects that it's interesting and she'll keep an eye on what happens next. While Leon leads the exercise count, little Myeon asks why they do it. He explains warming up is important before exercising, and she nods in understanding. Suddenly, Ross Weiss shows up, wanting to join them. Seeing her mom, Myeon cheers that she's running too. Ross Weiss tells her daughter she won't go easy, and Myeon says she won't either. Leon warns her to be careful not to twist her ankles since she sits in the office all day. The warrior teases him about her last competition win, but he retorts he didn't use all his strength. This excites Myeon, who shouts for her parents to compete again. Leon quickly covers her mouth, saying kids shouldn't talk about fights. Still, Myeon asks why her dad can't beat her mom, and he wonders how she learned to challenge like that. He explains he doesn't want to hurt his wife, which is why he lets her win. From afar, Ross Weiss calls him stubborn and suggests a new contest to see who can run the longest. Leon accepts, saying the endurance match isn't over. As they get ready, Myeon declares she won't lose either. The maid raises her arm to start the race and gives the signal. She then shouts go, and the race begins. While running, Leon asks if her tail gets in the way. She says it helps with balance, which he lacks. Even ahead, Ross Weiss taunts him to show his own, but he says he doesn't need a tail to win. After 2 laps, Myeon collapses, exhausted, saying she can't run anymore. The maid comforts her, saying Princess Myeon was amazing just for trying. She invites her to cheer from the sidelines for the queen and the prince. While running, Leon realizes he doesn't have much advantage since the silver dragon people are fast. Still, he commits to his decision. There's no turning back now. With his honor as a dragon hunter at stake, he tells himself he can't lose here. In a final push, he screams, remembering the hunter's code, born to fight and rest only in death. 20 minutes later, Leon lies on the ground, out of breath. Ross Weiss asks if he accepts defeat, but Leon says he doesn't. Smiling, she challenges him to keep running since he refuses to lose. Leon asks for 2 days to train, promising he'll beat her. She teases that 2 years wouldn't be enough, but he insists he can do it. Ross Weiss steps closer and asks if he'll show what he's really capable of now. The hunter dodges, saying he loves baths because they feel good. He warns her that grudges will bite back, but says she's the one holding grudges. Ross Weiss calls Myeon and says since her dad feels weak, they'll exercise together now. Myeon says her dad is kind of weak and needs to work out more. Leon is speechless hearing this from his daughter. Holding Myeon's hand, Ross Weiss walks away, and Leon advises her not to underestimate a seemingly weak father, as things can change. Later, a special meal is served to help the family recover energy. Myeon affectionately asks her dad to open his mouth so she can feed him. He opens his mouth to receive the food. After eating, he collapses onto the table, and Ross Weiss advises him not to push his rusty body so hard next time. Still lying down, he grumbles he only lost because of the previous night's task, otherwise he would have beaten her. Ross Weiss jokes, asking if he wants to keep working tonight too. He suddenly stands up from the table. The warrior quickly picks up Myeon and says he'll stay with her tonight to tell a new story. When the little girl asks if they agreed on that, he says the agreement starts now. Ross Weiss agrees, saying they should stay up late but wake up early. The little one happily agrees with her mom while being held. Ross Weiss then walks alone down a long hallway. She stops and tells the person hiding to come out. Her subordinate steps out and calls her Your Majesty. The woman asks directly if there's any news. The informer says she found Tej Lawrence's old home, but they moved out over a year ago and left the empire. She adds they donated everything except one thing. The subordinate says the only thing not donated was a donkey. She explains the neighbors said the couple loved the donkey and took it with them. Ross Weiss tells her to keep tracking Tej, and the woman leaves to do so. Once the informant is gone, the queen stays silent for a moment. She starts wondering about Leon's master and why he left the empire. Somewhere else, a voice reacts with surprise to unexpected news. The news shocks the couple, and the man asks if he heard right about a family sports day. Moon confirms the academy is planning the event next week. Ross Weiss says that in her day, parents didn't join in, and the daughter says it's a new idea. The little one asks her mom what place she got in the games. Proudly, the woman says she got first place, impressing the girls. The girl then asks about their dad, and he says he didn't place, making her ask why. Smiling, the warrior says he was so good that the academy thought he cheated and didn't publish his results. Noelle asks if that means her dad is a cheater. Leon says no and explains the academy secretly gave him a medal, but he melted it to make a bracelet for his grandma. Ross Weiss asks how someone who values honor could melt his medal, and he says he doesn't want an honor he can't show off proudly. She then asks if he's really joining the sports day. Noah says the event is just for fun and doesn't affect grades. The girl says she still wants to win first place. Liam realizes his daughter got his competitive spirit and wants to be the best. He and Ross Weiss exchange a knowing look. They announce they'll join the event with her. Excited, Moon wants to join too, but Noelle says only 3 can register. To cheer her up, the dad says she can be the cheerleader, and her support will be key to winning. The little girl agrees and promises to cheer with all her might. With the family together, he says if everyone tries hard, winning will be easy. To get ready, Liam starts intense training for the sports day in a week. While exercising, he watches Ross Weiss stretching. He thinks dragon women like her are real models. Anything they wear looks great. The woman suggests a warm-up run since the kids aren't up yet, and he agrees. As they run, Leon asks about the competition events, and Ross Weiss lists the triathlon, racing, and jumping she did. He says it sounds like his sports days, but she warns not to underestimate dragon competitions. Leon says dragon hunters aren't easy either. With a teasing grin, Ross Weiss remembers how someone fainted after just a few laps recently. The comment clearly irritates him. He shouts it was her fault for keeping him up all night with that task. Hearing this, Ross Weiss stops and asks if he wants some motivation. She suggests that if they win first place at sports day, he'll get a week off. Excited, Leon asks if she's serious, and she confirms the deal. With new energy, he declares this tournament will be theirs. He yells, "Let's go!" and starts training, leaving her behind. Watching him, Ross Weiss thinks her motivation trick works. After warming up, she asks if his muscles and joints feel active. Leon jumps up, saying he feels like he just took a booster. Ross Weiss grabs a rope and mentions that since it's a family event, the contests will be different. So, she says they need to train their teamwork, not just fitness. Leon steps back and jokes about the rope, asking if she wants to tie him up again after the teacher's student game. Ross Weiss scolds him and asks if he's heard of a 3-legged race. Embarrassed, Leon admits he saw one at the Dragon Hunters Academy. She announces their coordination test is starting, and he agrees, though hesitantly. Once their legs are tied, Leon notices how close they are. To ease the tension, he suggests they start training. He rushes her, asking why she's standing still and tells her to move. But Ross Weiss points out he didn't say where to go, and he gestures to the grassy field, saying it'll hurt less if they fall. At first, they stumble with Ross Weiss shouting not to push her, and him insisting she's pushing. Trying to take charge, Leon warns her not to mess up his pace, but Ross Weiss thanks him for the morning laugh. To sync their steps, he starts a countdown. As he finishes, she yells, "Run," and speeds off. The sudden move surprises him. Leon is pulled forward, yelling in panic. Falling, he starts untying the rope while Ross Weiss asks if he knows what teamwork means. She teases him for not keeping up, but he retorts he won't lower himself to her level. To solve this, Leon suggests counting for each leg, and she agrees. Suddenly, he touches her side, surprising her. She explains this will help them move in sync. Flustered, Ross Weiss agrees to keep training. With this new method, their coordination improves as they move to his count. Later, she has him do push-ups with her on his back, and he complains she enjoys the show. Training continues until Leon is so tired he can barely stand. To motivate him, Ross Weiss jokes she'll kiss him if he can keep going, but he yells he'll never let that happen. With that extra push, he finishes the 500 push-ups. Time flew by, and as planned, St. His Academy's family sports competition began. On a podium, Vice Principal Wilson announced the start of the school's first family sports event. From the stands, little Mio cheered for her dad, mom, and sister. Soon, commentator Chel Lu introduced herself and said she'd narrate the competition. She announced the first round was a relay race with each family sending 3 members. She explained the race was 3,000 meters, and the fastest team would win. An organizer then told the groups to get their numbers and go to their starting points. After getting their numbers, Noah decided her mom would run first, and she'd take the second leg, with Leon agreeing quickly. The young girl then told her dad he'd run the third and final part of the race. Confidently, he replied with a, "Of course," confirming their plan. Rosways told everyone the race was starting soon and to get ready. With everything prepared, they exchanged a final look before the race began. On the track, Rosways calmed her daughter, saying she would be the first to pass the baton. Meanwhile, the father and daughter waited for their turn. Soon, an organizer called the second runners to the waiting area. Before leaving, Leon told his daughter he'd be waiting in the third stage and to be careful. He asked the little one if she'd cheer for him during the race. She nodded and said she would, and they bumped fists in trust. The commentator announced the relay race was about to start, and asked the first runners to get ready. From the stands, Mew cheered for her mom with pom-poms. On the track, the organizer told everyone to take their places. When the signal sounded, Rosways dashed forward with the baton. The announcer said runner number 7 from the Silver Clan was leading, leaving others behind. She noted runner number 10, Misty, from the Electric Clan, was closing in. Next to Leon, another dad said it's not just silver dragons who are fast. This made Leon think about how the Electric Clan is good at dodging and fake attacks. The commentator said number 7 passed number 10 again, and was now 2 lengths ahead. She asked President Duncan who would win, but he said it's not over until the end. The other dad bragged his wife was far ahead, and Leon agreed she was amazing. Smiling, the rival dad said his partner was impressive, but Leon added that his wife was even more incredible. Rosways then sped up on the track. Surprised, the rival wondered where she got that strength. As she ran, Rosways thought about the wind resistance from leading. Her rival realized she couldn't keep up with Rosways' pace. The commentator said number 7 used her opponent's body to reduce wind drag and speed up. With this move, she was the first to pass the baton. The commentator then said number 10 also passed the baton and wondered if the new runner could catch Noah. Watching her daughter run, Rosways felt a bit worried. Her husband gave her a thumbs up from afar. Clenching her fists, she trusted the next runners. On the track, the announcer said the second runners were off, while one competitor complained about the leader's speed. The commentator announced Noah and Dean were leading. As he passed, Dean teased her, saying, "Goodbye, little legs." Determined, she thought she couldn't let him get too far. From the stands, Moon cheered for her sister. The commentator wondered if Dean's lead was decisive, but the president said it's not over until the end. Soon, the announcer said both runners were exiting the final turn and nearing the finish. The commentator noted the 2 dragons were side by side, either giving way. The announcer questioned who would pass the baton first for the final leg. The commentator confirmed Dean handed off the baton slightly ahead, and Noah also completed the exchange. After finishing, she apologized to her mom for losing the lead. Rosways reassured her, saying she did well and her opponent was older. She invited her daughter to the finish line to cheer for Daddy. In the stands, Mewan shouted that her dad needed strength and was the best. On the track, the rival warned Leon he'd gain a 5-second lead. As he sped up, the opponent laughed, taunting him. Leon thought the rival shouldn't underestimate his love for vacation time. With the race heating up, the commentator said Gordon and the Silver Dragon Clan rep were speeding up, while the president repeated nothing was decided. Watching closely, Noah whispered encouragement for her dad. Suddenly, Leon heard his daughter's cheer, surprising him. Motivated, he told himself he couldn't lose now that Noah called him daddy. Energized, he sped up alongside the rival. The rival dad realized he might be overtaken. Determined, he warned he'd make Leon taste defeat. Suddenly, the rival tried to trip him, catching Leon off guard. Dodging, Leon warned that if dirty tricks were used, the consequences weren't his fault. The rival stumbled on his own obstacles. The commentator announced Gordon fell at the final stretch. With a clear path, she declared Leon crossed the finish line first, and the announcer congratulated the Makawai family for winning. After the win, the dad asked Noah what she said. Shyly, she called him daddy. He asked her to say it again, but Noah said she'd only repeat it if they won first place in the games. Rosways asked if he was hurt, and he assured her he was fine. Suddenly, the rival dad accused Leon of cheating by kicking dirt at him. Leon fired back, asking how the attacker now wanted to play victim. He pointed to the opponent's clothes, showing the attempt to strike him. Feigning innocence, Leon told the judges he might have kicked up dust by accident, but it wasn't his fault. An organizer asked the runner to cooperate with an inspection, but his wife stopped him. As they tried to understand why the inspection was stopped, someone approached and asked what was happening. The rival dad recognized the clan chief, Thor, leader of the Electric Dragons and president of the arbitration committee. Hey everyone, did you like this story? I really enjoyed it. If you want to see the next part, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. See you in the next story, guys.